Good morning. Hello, Heavy. Hi, babes. Hi, Serial Killer. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Hi. How are we? How is everybody this morning? You guys had heavy snow? Oh, we got a lot of snow here as well. Serial Killer. Heavy's at work today as well. Good morning. Happy Sunday, everyone. Let me scroll up here. Because some of you guys have just been hanging out in here. Greg Red, welcome to the Horde. Thank you for the follow. Regal, life is great. Mwah, thank you for those hosts. Mischief Maker, Moon Smurf, Batman Goddess. Mwah, thank you for those hosts. I do appreciate it. Good morning, Bumpiest. How was your vacation? And mwah, thank you for that host. We got a couple of inches. Good morning, Serial Killer. Happy birthday. Yesterday was Serial Killer's born day. The roads are decent today, so that's good. Good morning, life is great. Good morning, Mischief Maker. How are we? The Angel of Death, thank you for that auto host. I do appreciate it. Good morning, Book, Moon Smurf, Bruno. Mwah, thank you for that host. I hope Mixer is working well for you guys today. Good morning, Dillinger. No problem. The Book Chronicles and Dillinger. Mwah, thank you for the host. Batty, good morning, Batty. Thank you for the host. Mwah, thank you. I am doing great. Regal, how are we this morning? Silver Noit. Mwah, thank you for that host. I do appreciate it. Hello, Metalhead. Batman, go Klepto. Mwah, thank you. Good morning. Thank you for that host. I appreciate the host, guys. Definitely do. Thank you. I hope you guys had a great weekend. Mwah, Metalhead, thank you for that host. I appreciate it. Chronic, thank you again. Thank you guys so much for the host. Thank you. Mwah, thank you so much. I appreciate it. How was everybody's Sunday? How was everybody's weekend? We are going to get going pretty quick with Coffee Chat of Horrors because we got a shit ton of information for 2.5 hours. It was good, apart from being sick 3 times in the car due to motion sickness. Oh, Bumpiest, car sickness sucks. That blows. But I'm glad you had a good time. Yes, and Serial Killer celebrated his birthday yesterday. Mom is going to watch the show today, Ra. Oh my God, good morning, Mom. Surecat, thank you for that host. We're not on Twitch today either. We're just on Mixer, and I have myself on YouTube. We will be uploading the videos to Twitch and Facebook. Mixer has been doing well. Why is my alert showing up underneath me? Not right. Mixer has been doing well, so I didn't want to fucking jinx it either, but oh, and it's still the same. Oh, I forgot to change my new collection thing. We'll have a new one for Monday. I don't want to be hiding my stuff behind my webcam. For some reason, my webcam is over everything. 26 Ninjas, good morning. Good morning. I thought you changed your name. Is it me that I thought? I don't know. I'm a little losing it this morning. Mommy, good morning. Good morning, Mommy. Thank you for that host. It's awesome, Batman. Your parents are watching. Hello, Batman's parents. Good morning. I hope you guys had a great weekend. For those of you that are just joining us, we are doing a web show today on Coffee Chat of Horrors. We are the only horror-based web show on Mixer. Only horror-based web show on Mixer. So we will be talking about sci-fi. All of November is our sci-fi month. Today we are talking about some of the oldies and goodies. Buck Rogers, Flash Gordon. We'll be talking about Star Wars and Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica, Doctor Who. So we've got a bunch of information for you today. I've got a lot of information to do in 2.5 hours. Lacey Jade, mwah, thank you for that host. The bitch is here. Don't forget, guys, exclamation point morgue. Exclamation point morgue on the mixer side of things. Hi, Hench. How are you doing? We're going to start off right now with Buck Rogers. I don't know if any of you youngins know who Buck Rogers is, but it ties right into Flash Gordon. We have a couple trailers that we're going to look at today as well. Nothing with Buck Rogers, but we're going to start off. Regal, thank you. Mischief Maker, thank you so much for that gifted sub to Regal. Sub hype, guys. Get it. Get it. Thank you so very much. And I do apologize. All mixed play sounds and stuff are off except for our gifted sub video. And it's only off because it's the web show. Thank you. How are you doing, Chronic? You're doing good? I am doing good, Hench. I'm hoping everyone had a great weekend. I hope you guys all had a great weekend. I did. I got to enjoy Mr. Metro Birdman's show on MIU. It was very informative. So we have some new stuff that we'll be announcing on Monday, hopefully on Monday. Brave. Thank you for that host. I hope you are well. Thank you, Mischief Maker. Seriously, thank you for that gifted sub. Hi, Ecstasy Doc. How are you? Thank you for those sparks, guys. I do appreciate it. Very, very much so. The Horde board works, but none of the sounds and stuff like that. The same thing with the sub board. It's all turned off for this morning's show. We're going to get into it. We are going to get into Buck Rogers. Keep our fingers crossed everything still works perfectly. All right. Now, thank you, Bumpiest. Yes, we hit 16K Friday night playing Friday the 13th. It was pretty awesome. So you have to refresh yourself when you have a sub. You get the scariest emotes on Mixer and the cutest zombie kitty badge. So thank you, and thank you for those sparks. Thank you. I noticed the name was a bit naked. Hence, I love that kitty picture. Okay, so Buck Rogers. Now, this is starting off our sci-fi month. We last Sunday, we started talking about the birth of sci-fi. So we went into some of the classic classic sci-fi, and now we're going into Buck Rogers, which helped start off shows like Star Wars, Star Trek, and Flash Gordon. Buck Rogers was done in 1979. The budget for this film was $3.5 million, and the box office brought in $21.7 million. So back in 1979, and that back then is a lot of money. How about Spaceballs? We have some stuff coming up. We have stuff coming up that I have planned for 2020. I like Spaceballs. It's more in the comedy, sci-fi, horror, not even horror. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna do Rocky Horror Picture Show and Spaceballs and shows very similar to that in 2020. So we should have 2020 will be a pretty big year for our show. But yeah, you gotta have Spaceballs. I mean, how can you not? Good morning or good day, Scorpio. How are you? Buck Rogers is a fictional space opera character created by, he actually is. The plot, how it goes is in 1987, the film was filmed and dropped in 1979. This is their future, though. 1987 is their future. Go laugh at that one. 1987 is their future. Batboy, thank you for that auto host. I'm doing wonderful, Scorpio. In 1987, NASA astronaut Captain William Buck Rogers is piloting the Space Shuttle Ranger 3 when he flies into an unexpected space phenomenon, and it is frozen for 504 years. I really get a kick out of the future of 87. Serial Killer, thank you for that host. Oh, and before we go any further, I need to thank Batman Goddess and Regal Oncer for helping me obtain lots of Coffee Chat of Horror research that you guys are going to hear today. Without those two ladies, we would not have been able to stream Friday, and I probably would have had to taken a day off. So thank you, Batman, and thank you, Regal, for your hard work, helping me obtain all of the information that you hear today, and Reaper 1923 for all of the artwork that you're going to see. So thank you, ladies, very much. I truly appreciate your help. Really do, as I had fun playing Friday night. He wakes up to find the world's been overrun and teased hair. Yeah, right. Acid jeans, teased hair, and hair bands. Okay, so in the year 2491, his shuttle is found drifting in space by an alien ship, Draconia, which is headed to Earth for a trade conference under the command of Princess Ardala, her henchman Kane. The Draconians are planning to conquer the Earth through staged pirate attacks on Earth's shipping fleet, so forcing Earth to seek a treaty with Draconians, unwittingly opening up their defenses to invade. So that's a pilot of it, what to expect if you haven't seen Buck Rogers. But if you're a sci-fi fan, you have probably seen Buck Rogers, the 25th Century. No, Diabolical, you got unfollowed again. I'm sorry to hear that. I am so sorry to hear that. I would definitely put a ticket in. If this keeps happening to you, I would definitely put a ticket in. My two favorite sci-fi horror classics is Alien and War of the Worlds. War of the Worlds, the original, or the remake with Tom Cruise. War of the Worlds is great. And Mommy, we spoke about War of the Worlds last Sunday to start off our sci-fi month, because it's basically the birth of sci-fi happened with that book. Texas Dog Rescuer, thank you for that host. Yes, thank you, Batman and Regal. The city is indebted to you again. Did anyone else notice how well that goes? It goes great. It goes great. Good morning, Zombie Guts. How are you? No worries, Whispers, no worries. Look at my cup today. I don't know if you guys can see it. This is thanks to the one and only Mr. Cranky Canuck, and one of the reasons why we have a horror web show. NG Mayhem, thank you for that host. Now, this show started Gil Gerard in the title role and Erin Gray as Colonel Wilmer Deering. It was produced by Glenn A. Larson, who co-wrote the screenplay with Leslie Stevens, based on a character, Buck Rogers, which was created by Philip Francis Nolan in 1928. So we have done our research. We have gotten a lot of information for you. And we also have our trivia. We're not going to stop without our trivia. Reaper 1923, thank you for that host. Thank you for those sparks, guys. Get your coffee. Get your coffee. You're going to need it. How are you doing, Reaper? Good day. Buck Rogers was originally supposed to be a television movie pilot. Now, the Universal Studios... Oh, hi, kitten. Here comes my cat. So it was originally supposed to be a television movie pilot. It wasn't supposed to go right to theaters. Universal Studios opted to release the film theatrically several months before What are you doing, kitty? The television series aired. So this wasn't supposed to be right into theater. Sorry. Fusa is coming over to say good morning. Come on. Come on. Oh, you're a pain in the butt. Your tail is in the way. Put it down. Okay, so the movie was originally to be released, of course, originally to be released in 1978. Good morning, Blue. Mixer and YouTube. I forgot to post it in Discord. And there's a reason, and I'll tell you guys that in a little bit. There is a reason. They haven't taken away my affiliate ship over there yet. And I've put an email in to have it done, but it hasn't done it yet. And as an affiliate, you can't stream to both, right? Devil Dog, thank you for that host. And I don't want to get it. Thank you. She's a pain in the ass right now. And I didn't want to get suspended over there. So, Scroto, good morning. Thank you for that host. Okay, so the movie was originally slated for release in 1978. There were several start dates for filming, but it was repeatedly delayed due to casting problems. The movie was eventually released in March of 1979. So it was meant to be done earlier, but they had tons of problems with casting and getting the correct actors to join in on it. You can revoke it on your own. Oh, okay. I did not know this because it doesn't show me anywhere. Okay, thank you. Erin Gray? Yes. Yes. Yes, she was. Definitely. Yeah, she's all over the place. And if things change in my voice, it's because she's stepping on my Go XLR because she's a pain in my ass. To cut costs, some of the footage and various props that were used from Glenn A. Larson's series Battlestar Galactica in 1978, even some of the concept designs from Galactica were used in this movie. Stop. No. Of course. Now you gotta stop. Lay down. Inopportune times that she wants to go and sleep. No, Whispers, no, we just got it started. Dahi, thank you for that host. Yes, exactly, Dillinger. Nathan Fillion would have been great for Buck Rogers if they ever do a remake. If they ever do a remake, I'm not too sure if they will. But you never know. They did Flash, right? The Terran starfighters on Buck Rogers were originally designed as Colonial Vipers for Galactica, but Larson had opted for a designer closer to the X-Wing fighters from the Star Wars New Hope from 1977. To make Buck Rogers appear frozen. Now this is really cool part because if you've seen it, you know the frozen part where Buck Rogers, everything gets frozen. Now, when they did this, they used ordinary dry shampoo and sprayed it. Sprayed ordinary dry shampoo all over. I thought that was kind of crazy. Because of this, he could not open his eyes or move while he was waiting for them to shoot the scene. And there has been rumors that he has fallen asleep a few times on set, especially when having dry shampoo sprayed all over you. Right, Regal? Regal did the Buck Rogers. So Regal and Batman, they've done different pieces throughout the whole research. So they're going to be like, huh? I know that. Thank you, Mep. Thank you, MepTech, for the auto host. I do appreciate it. I noticed my hosting did not go off. So that's kind of weird. Weird that it didn't go off. Now, with Buck Rogers, some of the robots and stuff that you're going to see are going to be very similar to other sci-fi movies because basically a lot of them have taken and recycled previous robots or have engineered them just a little bit differently but use the same template mode. That's your warning. What's your warning joke? Cannibal, good morning. How are you? This is artwork once again found by Reaper 1923. I saw this amazing and so funny streamer on Mixer. Nice. That's cool, Diabolical. And more Buck Rogers. Who here has seen Buck Rogers? Laura is on your old account. Okay. I'm curious out of everyone here. You know, we do got some youngins who hasn't seen Buck Rogers, or I should have said who hasn't seen Buck Rogers. I know people who are sci-fi fans have most likely seen Buck Rogers in every film that we're going to talk about today. We're talking about movies and TV shows. You've never seen it. You should definitely go and take a look at it. These images here are all created. These are all artwork and posters. I might have, but I don't remember a lot from growing up. Thank you, Lacey. Thank you. I appreciate it. Gotham, gotcha. Thank you. Mwah for the host. Thank you. I appreciate it. My alerts are a bit behind. There we go. I've seen bits and pieces of it. Well, I highly suggest you see it. You can actually rent it on YouTube for like $3.99 or something like that. Dahi, thank you for that host. You saw it back as an old TV series back in the day. Well, it was supposed to be, yeah, in the 80s you would have. And it was supposed to be an actual TV movie, but they changed it and released it in theaters. Kakashi, Mwah, thank you for that, host Kakashi. How are you doing? How are you doing today? And all of this information and imagery that you see will be in Discord. Unfortunately, there is no cosplay or tattoos on this stuff. There's not a lot of cosplay on some of these older sci-fis. You probably would with like Doctor Who and stuff like that, but nothing with the old ones. Hello, Snap. How are you? Good morning. We are going to look at some Buck Rogers. Actually, we're going to look at Flash Gordon, and we're going to look at the trailer for Flash Gordon. We are going to show you the trailer. So I don't know who here has seen Flash Gordon, but if you haven't seen the original, you need to go. I mean, nowadays they would stop hitting the mic. Nowadays, with the whole comic book frenzy and everyone jumping on the comic book train, I think Flash Gordon would have been really huge if comic book and stuff was done that time around. But I remember when reading comic books was a geek. You were a geek, right? You weren't considered cool. It wasn't the cool thing to do. All right, guys, here is the trailer. Tell me if you can hear it.
Clytus, I'm bored. What plaything can you offer me today?
An obscure body in the SK system.
You can hear it? Perfect. Thank you for the host, Kill-A-Lot. Thank you for the auto host.
I like to play with things a while before annihilation. Pathetic Earthlings! Who can save you now? Flash! Savior of the universe! Strange object.
Awesome show.
Imperial vortex. Flash! Remove the Earthwoman. Prepare her for our pleasure.
Don't kill him yet, Father. I want him.
Go, Flash, go! Flash!
I know, right? Who doesn't love Flash Gordon, man? that was Flash Gordon. Awesome movie, guys. Awesome movie. If you have not seen Flash Gordon, you are truly missing out on some of the best classic sci-fi movies out there. I used to love the old Looney Tunes parody as a kid. Duck Dodgers? Yes, right. Metro, good morning, sir. How are you? This makes me think of Ted. Well, right? There's actually information on that. He was in Ted 1 and Ted 2. Ming, right? Right. I want to say awesome job yesterday with MIU. I really enjoyed it. I need to go and watch your VOD so I can actually do what I need to do in my bot. Now, Flash Gordon was created and dropped in 1980 in the United Kingdom. It had a budget of 20 million and made 42.5 million worldwide. So that is pretty cool. And this was, you know, still living off of the sci-fi feathers of like Star Wars and all of that stuff, right? So 42.5 million. It is a British Dutch-American space opera film based on King Features comic strip of the same name created by Alex Raymond, which I thought was pretty cool. It's funny how the last 10 years comic books have made a comeback, right? It's now cool to read comic books. It's cool to have all that stuff. When back in the day we were made fun of for reading them, right? I always get a kick out of that shit. Thank you for those sparks. HX, thank you. Thank you so much. I loving those gifts. I can actually see those gifts because I'm using Mixer's pop-out chat. During the opening credits, each cast member has its own accompanied artwork of his own and her character. They created animated artwork for each character and cast member, so it also looked like the original comic strip. Having comics was a nerd. Now it's like, holy shit, remember the classic? Yeah, exactly. In the movie Ted, they were big Flash fans. Yes, they were. They were. There was a reason why. And in 1 and 2, right? Now, I don't want to lose my spot. Therefore, you will see all of the major characters as cartoons during the opening scene, and then as the members who played them in the cast later on. So they had them individually drawn up like the comic book. And this is all, again, artwork that you see from people who are happy. Fooster definitely wants to be part of Coffee Chat of Horror's co-host. She's a pain in the butt. I had to mute my mic because she was going up to the mic and meowing on it and then like trying to bite it. And I'm like, you got to stay down. You're a bad kitty. While out of the app, I'll DM you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so all of the main cast were, hey, Katie, how are you, Gigi? How are you doing, darling? Good morning. Thank you for those sparks, guys. I do appreciate it. And we have started early today. Usually we do a 9:30 to 10 o'clock chit chat, but we had so much information to give you today. I needed to start at 9:30 sharp. Again, thank you to Batman and Regal for the research help and Reaper 1923 for all of the artwork that you see here today. Ooh, it's lots of stuff, guys. Okay, so all of the main cast members were signed for multiple films. The first movie didn't do so well as expected, so sequels were never made. They assumed that this movie was going to top the charts and become amazing, awesome right off the bat. So they actually set up each of the actors to go on to the sequels. And the movie, in their eyes, didn't do so well. And I guess back then it didn't do as well as they thought it would have been. And so sequels were basically killed off. They weren't done, right? And, you know, I don't know, maybe it would have taken off. Max von Sydow's Ming costume weighed over 70 pounds. He can only stand in it for a few minutes at a time. Chronic, thank you for those embers. Thank you very much for those embers. We do have the wheel. I can definitely put that wheel up there. We can definitely put the wheel up and we can manually spin it for you. Manually spin it. If you could, Regal, if you could, that would be great. We don't do follow emeralds. Follow for follow will get you nowhere in this industry. If you want to earn viewers and followers and build a community, follow for follow is not how you're gonna do it, hun. Networking, branding, and marketing, and a lot of hard work is how you're gonna make it in this industry. Coming into someone else's channel and saying follow for follow, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. My community will look at you like, what are you doing? Right? If you really want a true community and build yourself up, then you come in here and you become part of my community and you hang out or part of other people's communities. Don't just go into other people's channels and say follow for follow. 1, it's rude and disrespectful. And 2, it's just not going to get you anywhere. They probably wanted a juggernaut of a movie. Yes, Dillinger, because you got to think about it. Everyone's coming off of the same heat wave of Star Wars. You had Star Wars, Star Trek, all of these movies, big name movies, right? That are taking the wheel. Obviously, this is not going to be Star Wars material. It was because his flying ship looked like a treadmill. It was 70 pounds. Ming's costume was 70 pounds. Yes, bat on a wing. Okay, can you write that in Discord for me so that when we're done, I can definitely do that for Chronic? Thank you for those embers. I really do appreciate it, Chronic. Exactly. But this is where we teach new streamers the etiquette, Lacey, right? Maybe Emerald doesn't know the etiquette of being a content creator. So instead of me timing out and banning and being an asshole, I explain to Emerald why it's not going to work. Follow for follow won't work because they're not going to come back and watch your stream. You can have 1 million follows and have 0 viewers. That's not beneficial, and you're not going to go anywhere. So I don't time out, I don't ban, and I'm not an asshole to people who do that because they need education. We need to teach them. We need to teach them that it's not right. Here's another really cool piece of artwork. But yes, 70 pounds. He can only wear it for a few minutes at a time. So his scenes were not long. And for scenes that you do see him long periods of time, they cut it together. Yeah, exactly. Out of Frost. How are you doing? Who's promoting Grab's bat? It'd be a shame if you lost a knee. Exactly, Bruno. Max von Sydow was the father Lancaster Marin in The Exorcist. That is true. You'll see a few of these guys, and actually, as we get further into our information, you're going to see a connection between a lot of these actors and other movies that we love. And they started off in not so famous movies. Chilling, just waiting for the Star Wars part. I know you're so excited for the Star Wars part. You just made me delete what I was writing because I'm an asshole. You guys can be. You're more than welcome. I'm just not gonna be the asshole. They have to start somewhere, Regal. You are completely right. They have to start somewhere. Okay, so Flash. Zombie Guts. Oh, Mixer wasn't doing too good for you. Zombie Guts, you can change your YouTube name to portray your Mixer name if you like. It's all in the branding. I can show you how to do that after stream today. If anybody on YouTube wants to change their name to their gamer tag or their Mixer tag, it's possible. I know some people are having problems right now on Mixer, and I do apologize. I do apologize if you're having issues on Mixer, but I am live on YouTube. So, and I know YouTube has a really decent app because that's what Heavy is on over on YouTube. Chronic, thank you for those ambers. I do appreciate it. Roz like the mob boss. She has the horde. She has the horde be the asshole so she doesn't have to get her claws dirty. You just got yourself 50,000 limbs. Chronic, thank you for those embers. And Dillinger, there you go. Okay, then eat space stick. Oh, you guys are so funny. You know the part where Flash is jumping into the scene camera and he's jumping up in the air and he's screaming into the camera, yeah? That was all improv. Nobody can figure out how to end the movie. So him jumping up and saying, yeah, like, yes, we kicked their ass, that was all improv. It wasn't part of the script. It was all improv on his part there. I definitely need more sparks before I drop any more. That's a good quote, Metro, right? Are you done? She's taking her sweet time. I really shouldn't have a GoPro on. Stop hitting my mic. She's whapping it with her tail. So I apologize if you hear that. Thank you, Chronic, for those embers. You get yourself 50,000 limbs. I will teach you how to do that, Zombie Guts. At the end of the stream, I'll put it into Discord. There is, I don't know if we pinned it in Discord of how to change your name or branding, but it is in your settings and it is under branding. Under branding. So 5 of the 007 actors appeared in this movie. Max von Sydow, Timothy Dalton, Topal, Andy Bradford, and a young Robbie Coltrane. So 5 of these people were in 007 actors. So, well, 5 of them, right, appeared in this movie. And you're going to see as we go further, so many other famous actors appearing in some of these older movies and just see where their career started from. Mama Ducky, thank you for that host. I do appreciate it. Hi, Prime. How are you? Hi, Trauma. I'm on Mixer right now, but some people are having problems with Mixer. Yeah, some people are having problems with Mixer, so that's why I stream to YouTube at the same time. Timothy Dalton was 007 for a while. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. And again, a lot of these actors are getting their their feet wet. Some of them have only done TV shows, where others, started off in TV and then made their way into movies by starting in older sci-fi. Pretty much awake, having Starbucks breakfast. Nice, nice. I had a granola bar. Predator Stream. Exactly. The Predator Stream was awesome. We got to learn lots about KY jelly. I'm watching YouTube and chatting through Mixer. Yeah, sometimes it's just better to be on YouTube. Right? Dilector, wow, thank you for the auto host. I do appreciate it. One of the feast items in the Hawkman's Kingdom was Twinkies. It was Twinkies, and they colored it with food dye. I don't know if you guys picked that up at all. But Twinkies colored with food dye, that was one of their foods at the whole feast that they were having. You're on Mixer, but both mobile app and Xbox. Cool, Chronic, thank you. Thank you so very much for those embers. I appreciate it. The Joe Show, thank you for that auto host, my friend. Much appreciated. According to Sam Jane Jones, while filming the tilted disc fight scene, the actors would get covered in paint by the discs that were spray painted silver. They would have to take extra time in between each take to wipe off the silver paint off their bodies. So they would film a portion of that fight scene, stop it, wipe all the silver paint off of them, because for some reason, when they did that scene, the paint wasn't drying. It was just coming off on them, and it was very noticeable. So they had to shoot a scene, shoot a section of it, stop it. Actors had to wipe themselves off, and then shoot another scene, stop it, and wipe themselves off. It took a while for this movie to be made. It's really, it is. The video is clear and no lag today. Yes, sure, Cat. See, you're lucky. There's a few that are having those issues, and they're over on YouTube. Do you know that Arnold Schwarzenegger was turned down for the lead role because of his accent? Hi, Ms. Animated. Hey, doesn't that guy in the left side look a lot like Metro? It does. It does. That is so funny. But yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger was turned down for this role because he applied for it. He applied to be in Flash Gordon and as Flash. But his accent at that time was so strong, they did not want it. They did not want that Austrian accent. But I agree. I am Flash Gordon. Get down, right? Get to the chopper. Can you just see him saying that? You can see him saying, get to the disc, or something crazy like that. Chronic, thank you so much for those embers. Wasn't there a Flash Gordon Conquers the Martians movie? I'm not 100% sure. Not 100% sure. I only did research on the original Flash Gordon, nothing of the remake or the TV show. But we do have TV shows for you today as well. But yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger was turned down. For the scene in which Dale turns into a giant spider for a dream sequence. Do you guys remember that sequence? Melody Anderson spent 6 hours getting painted green, wearing fake eyes and fangs with a headpiece that weighed over 20 pounds. Can you imagine 20 pounds hanging on your head? When Mike Hodges came in, he said, "This is wonderful, but we can't use this. It has absolutely nothing to do with the script." So she gets, "Good morning, Draven. How are you? How's it going over there, babes?" Heavy is over on YouTube and he's at work today working on his project. My neck hurts just thinking about it, right? 20 pounds doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're putting 20 pounds solely on your head, that is a lot of weight for your head and your neck and your shoulder muscles to obtain. It may not sound like a lot. You're like, 20 pounds, that's nothing. But when it's sitting on your head alone, she got ready for 6 friggin' hours. 6 hours in makeup and headpieces and all of this stuff just to be told, "This is wonderful, but we can't use it." I would be so mad. Yeah, talk to Predator and his well, see, that's 200 plus pounds spread throughout a body right? This is just 20 pounds on her head. So 200 pounds. Well, and Ming's costume was 70 pounds, but 70 pounds spread throughout his body, not just in one section. But yeah, no, and 20 pounds is heavy, right? 200 plus pounds, that is heavy. And that's why there was only 7 minutes of airtime that you see him in the movie in Aliens, right? And in Predator. The xenomorph costume, that was pretty heavy. And yeah, the 200 plus pounds for Predator, it was the cement tree. They had to make a cement tree because he was too friggin' heavy. Mike Hodges considered commissioning Pink Floyd to compose the music, but they went with Queen instead. I think either of them would have done a good job, Pink Floyd or Queen. To be honest with you, I like Pink Floyd and I like Queen. I wonder if heavy looks over every time you say heavy, right? Yeah, I wonder too. Apparently, Queen did an album for the movie Flash Gordon, and it was recorded during their 9th studio album. The album featured 2 tracks, and each member of Queen appears on the album. On the UK charts, the soundtrack was in peak position at number 10. In the United States, it was in peak position at 23 for the US Billboard 200. George Lucas supposedly was to have made Flash Gordon, but he went with Star Wars instead. So they were looking for George Lucas to do Flash Gordon, but he decided to go with Star Wars. Where would George Lucas be if he decided to do Flash Gordon instead of Star Wars? Yeah, Queen. Yep. Queen did the music for Flash Gordon. Draven, thank you for that, host. I appreciate it. Make sure you guys do exclamation point morgue. Exclamation point morgue. I wonder, yeah. Yep. Flash Gordon, savior of the universe. The world would be doomed. You wouldn't be able to say Flash Gordon. But could you imagine if he decided to do Flash Gordon over Star Wars? I feel stupid. I was thinking of Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. Mama. So you were thinking Flash Gordon conquers the Martians, but it was actually Santa Claus? Probably living in the projects instead of Skywalker Ranch, right? It wouldn't be Skywalker Ranch. So just those little things that you do in your past change your future. It's crazy that if he would have went with Flash Gordon, where he would have been. It's these little things that you do back in the day that play a huge role of where you're going to be in the future. I'm trying to get a YouTube video ready for you guys because the next portion is going to be Battlestar Galactica. I know I have some Battlestar Galactica fans here, so. Yeah, right? Right? New or old? We are going off of the originals. The original. That is, what is this? Which trailer are we gonna watch? Oh, we're gonna watch the miniseries trailer is what we're gonna watch. That is what we're gonna watch. But shut up. And we're gonna mute this here and go on. Skip ad. Really hate the ads. All right, so this is going to be 2 minutes and 28 seconds. This will be the miniseries trailer, but we will be talking about the 1978 movie. We have all different types of artwork for it, though. It's hard to find artwork and imagery for a lot of the older sci-fi. It's not as easy to find a lot of the stuff that we're used to seeing when I go and show you guys other movies like Friday the 13th and Predator and Alien. It's harder to find good artwork that people do for the older stuff, right? Yeah, so we got a lot of information on the 1978. I have way too much information to do both. Way too much information to shoot into a 2.5-hour show. Unfortunately. And all right, I will have to turn this a bit louder. Let me know if it's too loud, guys. We are watching the miniseries, the Battlestar Galactica miniseries. Kind of give you guys an idea of what Battlestar Galactica is like, if you've never seen it. A serial killer like Zack and Mary do a porno?
We have a priority 1 alert message from fleet headquarters.
Let me know if it's too loud.
Moments ago, this ship received word of a Cylon attack against our home worlds is underway. Stand to your duties. As of this moment, we are at war.
I, Laura Rosling, do now avow and affirm that I accept the office of the President of the 12 colonies of Koba.
Sooner or later, the day comes when you can't hide from the things that you've done anymore.
I agree with you, Mama Ducky.
Humanity's children are returning home today.
Battlestar Galactica is pretty cool. It really is. A lot of these, if you guys haven't seen them, hey, stop playing. Anyways, if you haven't seen Battlestar Galactica, I definitely highly suggest checking it out. Battlestar Galactica has been redone a few times. The original movie, not movie, oh shitballs, sorry guys, that was probably loud, I forgot to turn that down. Yeah, you definitely need to rewatch them. Hi Mama Ducky, Batman, good morning. I have been watching, I got my mom here and hubby has been watching the show today. Good morning, Mom, good morning, hubby. Thank you. You know, sci-fi movie I like, but really hear it talked about is The Last Starfighter. That is one of Heavy's favorite movies as well. Starfighter is not talked about a lot because many people probably haven't seen it. Sneaky Tiger, good morning, darling. How are you? Hello, Diva. Good morning. How are you? You have the entire new. Oh, nice. So you have the entire new one on DVD. Perfect. We're going to be discussing. We're going to have artwork from the new and old, a little bit of everything. The Battlestar Galactica originally came out in 1978. Thank you for those Amber's serial killer. I appreciate it. You get yourself a Streamloots chest. Ooh. You've never seen the new one. You can see them all over the place. I'm pretty sure they're on Netflix, but it might be Netflix Canada. Not 100% sure. Ash Venturing, thank you for that auto host. I do appreciate it. Okay, so Battlestar Galactica, we have some money in there for you guys. The budget for this TV show was $750,000, and it was rumored to bring in $1 million per episode. Per episode. Can you imagine? I used to love the Battlestar Galactica games too. Nice. The Last Starfighter is one of the first movies to have used CGI. It was an awesome movie. Sure, Cat. If you want, are you in my Discord still? If you're in my Discord, please put that down in channel updates. If you put it in the channel updates, if there are movies or TV series you guys want to know about or want me to discuss, I am down for that. We have a lot of stuff for discussion already, but we can always put stuff in. Unlikely crowd. Mwah, thank you for that host. I do appreciate it. Diva. Mwah, darling, thank you for that host. I appreciate it. Dillinger, definitely good, especially for 1978. 1978. The budget for it was $750,000, but $1 million per episode. The last Starfighter movie, Death Blossom move, was used as the Reaper's special move in Overwatch. Oh, I didn't know that. We need to bring this into the show, Reaper. We need to bring this into the show. As you notice, I started using my notepad, Reaper. I've used my notepad inside. Technical computer notepad, not my actual notebook. Call me Zios. Mwah, thank you for that host. Toxic Mesh. Mwah, thank you for that host. Pi. I know I say X314. Pi. Mwah, thank you for that host. I do appreciate it. I hope you all are doing well. Happy Sunday. And if you're just joining us this morning, we are Coffee Chat of Horrors, Sci-Fi Classic Edition. In this episode, we're discussing Buck Rogers, Flash Gordon, Battlestar Galactica, Twilight Zone, The Outer Limits, Star Wars, Star Trek, and much more. Say however I like it. I know, I see 314, I don't automatically think pi, but I've been trying. Captain Planet and the Soldiers of the Future. Guys, if you have stuff that you want to see, please join my Discord if you're not already. And in the channel update section or in Crypt of Curiosities, put what you would like to see for Coffee Chat of Horrors. I and Reaper, we sit here and we discuss stuff for the future. Now, I've already have most of December, most of this November done with Reaper. But if there's stuff that you would like to see, we have 2020. I know Regal and Batman and I have been discussing future stuff for 2020. And definitely put it in there. I'm always interested in what you guys want to see. Next weekend, Blade Runner, maybe, since it's Los Angeles. Yes, I want to see. I actually need to see the whole new, the older Blade Runner. I am been dying to watch it. I don't own the first one. I own the second one on DVD. I wonder how much success it was because the world was still high on Star Wars. Definitely. It definitely was. Would consider the underrated Time Bandits a movie? Yes, definitely. Good morning, Jesse. How are you? Cyclone from the original battle. Yep, that it did, Lacey. You've seen it in the A-Team. I know they say your name in so many ways. I've heard it said so many different ways, for sure. This is some of the original Battlestar Galactica right here. So we're gonna have a mesh of both. We did try to get as much information on the new and old, but I have way too much to kind of talk about both. KGBK Wolverine, mwah, thank you for the host. Outlandish, mwah, thank you for the host. I do appreciate it. Battlestar Galactica was created by Glenn A. Larson that began the Battlestar Galactica franchise. The original show aired from 1978 to 1979 before being canceled due to poor ratings. In 1980, the franchise was revived with the spin-off known as Galactica 1980 for one season with only 10 episodes. So even though we were still on the Star Wars high, it did not do as well as they thought it was, and it only aired from 78 to 79. Love the intro to the original series. Yes, Brocluse, how are you doing? I know, Prime. If we had a smaller Coffee Chat of Horrors, like if I just did Battlestar Galactica, new and old, and maybe one other show, it would have been enough time. But 2.5 hours is a very short time to jam pack full of information because we're talking about some Star Wars, we're talking about some Star Trek, some Twilight Zone, and we all know those movies are huge and in depth and cannot be missed on a sci-fi month. But it doesn't say we can't do one later on. Okay, so the show is set in a distant star system where civilization of humans lives on a group of planets known as the 12 colonies. Coming to the end of year 1000, war against warrior robots called Cyclones that were built by reptilian race, also called Cyclones. They died off, and what remained was their army of robots. The Cyclones were able to destroy the colony's entire fleet except for one last remaining battleship spacecraft, Battlestar, called Galactica, captained by Commander William Adama and his crew. Yes, Xylons. Cyclones or Xylons? There we go. It's not spelled that way. No, Cannibal. We're not talking about V. Nice. So, a quick update for next weekend. We'll be talking about Blade Runner, Matrix, and the Terminator. Those will be our next ones. I just realized they look like Captain Phasma from Star Wars. Well, this is also, remember, coming off of the high of Star Wars, right? We actually have some information for you that ties very well into these. Xylons, okay. This show in 1978 was shot in Technicolor. Hello, Lawn Man. How are you? I did Cyclones and Xylons, yes. 3 of your favorite baddie. Awesome. Kaya, girly girl. How are you? Good morning and thank you for that host. I did. Okay, and that didn't know if it was working. I think the special effects guy who did Star Wars did Battlestar. We're going to get into that. We're going to give you some information on that. As I said, we have Star Wars today. Jesse Ops, thank you for that host. George Lucas and 20th Century Fox had started a lawsuit against Universal Studios for having a very close similarities, approximately 34 effects to Star Wars A New Hope from 1977. The special effects team and concept designer John, I can't pronounce his last name, Dykstra, previously worked on Star Wars. The lawsuit ended in 1980 with Lucasfilms and Fox losing. So you are correct, Zach. Thank you for that host, Brocluse, because John, who previously worked on Star Wars, worked on Battlestar Galactica. When we do our research, we really dig into them. Now, I am not a huge fan of Battlestar Galactica. It's not something that I've watched religiously, unlike other stuff. So we also have Event Horizon and The Fifth Element and Dune coming up as well. So that will be next weekend, and I love Blade. So there's a few things that are coming up. We have a full month of sci-fi, some good ones. And we started off with like the birth of sci-fi. And then which was born well before the 70s. So we started off with that, and we're coming into the 70s and coming into the 80s. And as we go further in, you'll notice the date range and era that we're doing and how we're doing it. So there's a reason why I'm starting it this way and not with like some of the most famous stuff, right? Dropping a host because you need to lurk, got a new car and need to go play with it. No worries, Pie. Enjoy your new toy, hon. Enjoy it. Yes, Fifth Element, such a great movie. Such a great movie, right? So again, you're going to see some new and old artwork. But yes, John, who worked on Star Wars, worked on this movie. There was a lawsuit, but Lucasfilms and 20th Century Fox lost that. There was approximately 34 effects that were very similar to Star Wars New Hope. Gotta know where it all comes from. You definitely do, Kaya. You gotta know where it all comes from. Telling time was different for humans in the show and was in units. A micron was a second, a centon a minute, and centar a section, and a sectar was a year. Those were the different words for times, telling time for humans in the show. It was Mila. Yeah, I love Mila. She does a great job in Resident Evil. Yeah, the last sci-fi show will be 1990 to now. Yeah. So we started off with the birth. We started off with where it got its momentum from, and then where we're landing up until now, right? So that's how we were running this show. We didn't want to jumble all around, so that's why we did it the way we did. I heard it took 60 people to operate the Jabba the Hutt monsters from Star Wars. Yeah, the costumes and stuff, they were not easy. Lilu, yeah, such a classic. Hello, Howard. How are you? Good morning. She played a completely different role, right? A completely different role from her Resident Evil days. Okay, so filming locations. The filming locations for Battlestar Galactica from 1978, Red Rock Canyon State Park, Santa Clarita, which I love that TV show, Santa Clarita Diet, and Universal Studios California. The entire Battlestar Galactica from 1978 was filmed in California. The whole thing was filmed in California. The actual original series was not called Battlestar Galactica. The original name was titled Adam's Ark, which the plot was survivors of the human race travel the galaxy in search for a new home after Earth was destroyed. So could you imagine the name being Adam's Ark instead of Battlestar Galactica? I know, Cannibal, right? Santa Clarita Diet was awesome. I loved that show. I loved it. And the Netflix just up and fucking canceled it. Now, the helmets. The helmets that were used by Apollo, Starbuck, and the pilots were all inspired by the Egyptian pharaoh Tutankhamun. So they have an Egyptian feel to them, and that is the reason why. The creator of the helmets wanted to give it a little bit different than what you guys have seen. Yep, King Tut. It would have been extremely different, differently viewed. Religious tones are hard to deal with in sci-fi. Yes, it would be, but that's what they would be going off of. Zoom, good day. How are you? How are you doing? But yeah, that is how they were inspired by their helmets. Now, we also have some Darth Vader in here for you too. This is another reason why George Lucas and 20th Century Fox went after Universal Studios. The voice synthesizer that was used to make the robotic sounds was done by Michael Santiago with a device called EMS Vocoder 2000. It was extremely difficult to find, and today it's worth over $5,000 US. So the voice synthesizer that was used was definitely hard to get back then in 1978, and it is worth over $5,000 now. Hi, Prox, how are you? Proximo Legend, how are you doing? There's another really nice artwork. I actually like this one. I like how the pinkish purples in the galaxy there in the universe. By your command, my day is going well. If you guys are new, welcome. This is Coffee Chat of Horrors. We are doing the Sci-Fi edition. This is the only horror-based web show on Mixer. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask, but this is all based on this month is sci-fi. For the Cyclone Centurion, they had to be chrome. The entire costume was to get the robotic look, and they achieved that very well with their Centaurians, the Xylons. I remember a character dying, affecting me as a kid in Battlestar. Really broke loose. Mila is your favorite actress as well as my, yes. See, Regal is a huge Resident Evil fan as well. Huge Resident Evil fan. There's lots of information in this here. So the helmet was heavily inspired by Darth Vader, but they could not do an exact replica of Darth Vader's helmet. So they decided to use and get the idea from the Egyptian pharaohs and then tweak it to somewhat use a Darth Vader look. That's why it kind of somewhat resembles. It's not a full-on, but it does sort of resemble it. Again, George Lucas and Fox tried to sue Universal Studios over it. There are many similarities in it, effects-wise and in look, but they lost. Northern Zoot, mwah, thank you for that auto host. I appreciate it. The 3 crew, okay, it was cool, but reused a lot. Yes, they were. They were reused a lot. I remember watching OG Battlestar Galactica and Buck Rogers as a kid. Roger Ramjet, in the beginning of this show, it started at 9:30. We spoke about Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon, and now we're on to Battlestar Galactica. But yeah, I grew up watching those as well. I didn't grow up watching a lot of Battlestar. You're also a huge fan? I think there's many of us here, Ninjas, that are huge fans of the Resident Evil franchise. I know I am. That's just a Chrome Imperial Guard. This is why Lucas and 20th Century Fox got up in arms. I met her and she told me how to pronounce her name, Yoho Vitek. Veach? Oh, that's really cool. That's awesome. Debbie Cakes, thank you for that host, darling. Mwah, thank you for that host. I hope you're doing well. You love Michelle Rodriguez? Oh, I love Michelle Rodriguez. She does awesome. And also Rodriguez films. Machete, Machete Kills. If you guys have not seen Machete, you guys are truly missing out on some awesome, awesome movies. I thought it was really cool. We are now going to get into some Star Wars. Outer Frost has been waiting for Star Wars. We are only going to be talking about the first 1977. We're not getting into the whole franchise. So we will be showing you the original trilogy, the ultimate trailer. We will be showing you that trailer. Yes, Star Wars. As a Star Wars fan, I'm currently triggered. What did you think about the movie about Battlestar Galactica? I haven't seen the movie. The best OG trilogy? Yes, the best one. I am a fan of Star Wars. And to me, it's only the original 3. I don't really include those other ones, but it is what it is. Some of us will fight about it. Others will disagree. I don't care. That is just my opinion. I just heard everyone sweating intensify when you said we're going to talk about Star Wars, right? And yes, Carrie Fisher, may she rest in peace. Diletter, wow. Thank you for that host. Mwah, thank you. Yeah, see, and Heavy's a huge Star Wars fan. There is no other one. Exactly. See, Heavy's on the YouTube side of things, and he's like, there are no other ones. There are the original 3, and that is it. Can we wrap James Earl Jones in a bubble wrap? Right, Diva? But do you know there was 2 people who played as Darth Vader, right? James was the voice. But we're going to go and watch a trailer. Just let me get it here. Let me set it up. And again, you need to let me know. Now, this trailer is 3 minutes, okay? And we're going to mute that. The frig is this? Okay. Going to make that bigger. Believe it or not, you can be a Star Wars fan and still have civil... Exactly, you can. It's not politics, right? It's not politics. But you'd be surprised at how many people get all bitchy about that shit.
The Force is with you, young Skywalker.
Tell me if that's too loud.
But you are not a Jedi yet.
Hi, I love Kitty. I think of the Schwartz every time I see that. Thank you.
I'm Captain of the Millennium Falcon.
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you.
I don't know where you get your delusions, laser brain.
What the hell are you doing?
Somebody has to save our skins.
General Calrissian has volunteered to lead the fighter
That they
attack.
did, Reaper. That they did.
I've just about had enough of you.
My ally is the Force, and a powerful ally it is.
I won't fail you. I'm not afraid.
You will be. You will be.
Star Wars was a love movie, romance.
The son of Skywalker must not become a Jedi.
If he could be turned, he would become a powerful ally.
Right, Roger? Diva. No, stop. There we go. I love listening to the opening part of Star Wars really loud. So I hope it wasn't too loud for you guys because I was bumping it up because I just love the opening. But yes, we are here. We're going to discuss some Star Wars stuff. I didn't go into too heavy again, like I said, because we only have X amount of time, but we did get some really good information about Star Wars. And yes, that is the proper way of watching it, and that's how it should be watched. You should never start off with the new shit. You need to go with the original and then watch them, right? I do not, my opinion on the new ones, but you can't wait for December 20th? I grew up watching the prequels first and then The New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. Really? In a galaxy far, far away. And yes, that has been used in several different ways. And Star Wars was basically the movie that broke the mold. It did a lot of firsts. And I agree with you, Pip Boy, good morning, how are you? I agree with you, Out of Frost. Every time I see Yoda now, I think of the robot chicken Yoda, and that's really bad. Kids these days don't understand the new ones. Yeah, right, Prince? I wonder if the creators of the original Halloween got the heavy breathing from Michael Myers from Darth Vader. I don't believe so. I don't believe so. If you insist on watching the prequels, Google the machete. Yes, order watching. Yes, definitely, Dillinger. The new stuff is okay. It's continued story, keeping the franchise alive. Yes, they're gonna keep it alive. They're gonna keep doing it. And oh, you did Zombie Guts. GG's. Yeah, probably because my mom didn't care as much about the order as much. Okay, so your mom didn't care about the order as much. I grew up with a stepfather who was a Trekkie. Okay? When I say he was a fucking Trekkie, him and his friends every month had Trekkie parties where they would fully dress up in full-on costumes. And I'm not talking about some Halloween shit. I'm talking about full balls to the wall costumes with prosthetics, the whole kit and fucking caboodle. Star Trek. Yeah, that's what I grew up with. And then I watched Star Wars as well. But when you have a diehard family, well, parents who are Trekkies, yeah. I love the new ones. Kylo Ren is bae. I actually like all the movies. I like them, serial killer. But 4, 6, 1, 3, 7, 9 all follow the same story. Yes. And it's all about being in love. It's a love story. It is a romance sci-fi. It really is. For 1970s, it was the biggest. Yes, it was. It was. It was definitely one of the breaking the mold in sci-fi. From comparing it to where War of the Worlds, the original War of the Worlds came. Rogue One was great. The rest was eh? You're a Trekkie, Ra. We no longer can be friends. I actually prefer Star Wars, but thankfully my stepdad doesn't watch any of this shit. He'd die. I am both a Star Trek and Star Wars lover. You can have the best of both. You can, Roger. You definitely can. But as a kid, I had this shit shoved down my throat. And as I got older, I was like, no. We don't speak about Solo movie. It's a Japanese space western. All the Star Wars bad lip reading are funny. I think they're cool, though. It's still a good movie. I like both. I like, Bi-Sci. There you go, Bi-Sci. I'm Forgiven. Yes. Yeah, I did. I watched Big Bang Theory. So the film, 1977, the budget for this listen to the budget for this movie. I want you guys to listen to this. $11 million USD for the budget. Box office worldwide, 503 million. 503 million. It is the first movie ever to break the 300 million mark. 11 million to create this mofo. 503 million at the box office worldwide. Yes. That's just one movie. We're not talking about the franchise. We're not talking about the rest of them. We are talking about just the one movie from 1977, 503 million. They were the first movie in history, the first movie ever to break 300 million in the box office. I love all sci-fi, Star Wars, Star Trek. Yeah, I do too. I enjoy them. I like sci-fi. I like the older stuff. Yes, he's, yeah, that's just on the first Star Wars Prime. The only reason why I like Darth Vader 3 best is because he was sneaky and looks like a demon. That is true. The thing that's amazing about the original movies to these guys were gluing airplane parts together to make the desk. Yes, there was some crazy shit that they did for this movie that was groundbreaking at that time, for sure. This movie would have costed about 40 million in today's terms. So if it was today's money, that $11 million from 77 would have been 40 million today, in today's money. You skip Solo? All the images in today's show will be in Ra's Discord. Definitely all of the imagery that you see today, and as well as all of my research along with the VOD, will be added into Discord. You'll be able to see that by the end of day today. You should have a VOD in there with all of my research that Reaper 1923 helped me do with the artwork, and Regal and Batman Goddess has helped me with the research for this. So all of this will be in there. Star Wars literally would not exist today for Akira. Yes, Akira was really good. We have that on VHS. Definitely. So the costume designer, his name was John Mallow. He had no previous experience in costume design when George Lucas approached him. He was hired due to his knowledge on military history. Now, Lucas wanted a very military theme to his movie, so he hired John Mallow. Military costumes was one of his main specialties, which was used heavily in the Star Wars movies. That is what he envisioned, and that is what he wanted. So that is why he hired John Mallow. I thought Solo was okay, but it was a movie nobody asked for. Good morning, Big. How are you? How is your weekend going? A Solo movie without Harrison Ford. Oh, okay. I'm thinking Akira. I don't watch Westerns. Is that US? US. We're never going to talk about it in Canadian funds. It was interesting to see his backstory. So you want to know how they came up with Darth Vader's outfit? Yeah, I don't watch. There's Bonanza was the only, I think, Western that I've ever really watched. I'm not a Western fan. So Darth Vader's costume was heavily based on a motorcycle outfit that followed up with a black cape. John Mallow then proceeded to find a gas mask placed with the Nazi helmet from World War I. This is how Darth Vader was born, and the final inspiration is what we see in the film. So he took a motorcycle outfit, added a cape to that, grabbed a gas mask from a Nazi helmet from World War I. Hence why, hi, Cam Facer, how are you? Good day. The X-Wing and TIE Fighter combat was inspired by, yes, it was. There's a lot of information that we have for this one here too, as well with R2-D2. Hi, GTA, how are you? Duke? I'm not really, no, you mean John Wayne? Is that what we're talking about there, Bruno? I'm not big into Westerns. I remember seeing something that they matched up the space battle scene with some of the world. There's lot of different stuff. Pampered Prophet, thank you for that host. Don't forget, guys, exclamation point morgue. So that is how Darth Vader was brought to life. A gas mask placed that with a Nazi helmet from World War One, hence why you kind of get that Nazi feel from his look. And a motorcycle outfit put a cape onto that, a black cape, and that's how he was made. Darth Vader's costume today, like, it would cost roughly about $18.3 million to make. We're not playing it. I'm not playing anything today, GTA. GTA today is Coffee Chat of Horrors web show. It is, no worries, Prime. Thank you for hanging out. I will slash you later, my friend. The term stormtrooper came from the German army. Yes, it did. We've got a lot of information on that as well. This is beautiful artwork right there. But if you were to create Darth Vader's costume right now in today's money, it would cost you $18.3 million to create. And that is a lot of friggin' money to create Darth Vader. We're going to talk about some Chewbacca, my favorite. I even have a Chewbacca jacket. I love Chewbacca. He is my favorite. So John Mallow, he sourced out yak hair, you heard that right, yak hair to create a furry knit bodysuit for Chewbacca. Actor Peter Mayhew to wear this whole costume. Chewie was inspired by George Lucas's very own pet dog. That is how they came up with Chewie. Now, the yak hair was real yak hair. This wasn't synthetic. This was real yak hair. Best Star Wars game is Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga. Interesting. I've never played it. Everybody loves Chewie. Chewie has always been my favorite. Ake. Mwah. Good morning, Ake. Thank you for that host. Amazing Halo. Mwah. Thank you for that host. I've seen the Family Guy version of Star Wars. Sneaky Tiger. Have you not seen Star Wars? Have you not seen Star Wars, Sneaky Tiger? How are you? Amazing. Yeah, real yak hair. I got some good information on this guy as well. You got Javi a Chewie robe? My winter jacket is Chewbacca. And actually, it's a reversible, turns to Han Solo as well. 50,000 brains for you, Ake. Thank you for those embers. What about Blood Rain 2? I love Blood. I own both Blood Rain games and movie. Well, I don't own the movies, but I have the movies on digital. Mr. Q, thank you for that auto host. I do appreciate it. George Lucas, believe this. Listen to this shit. George Lucas was so sure that his movie would flop that instead of attending the premiere of his own movie, he was on vacation in Hawaii with his good friend Steven Spielberg, which is where they came up for the idea of Raiders of the Lost Ark in 1981. George Lucas had no faith in his movie that he decided not to go to the premiere. Yeah, Kill-A-Lot, thank you for your auto host. Thank you. Did he ever get it wrong, Dahi? Did he ever get it wrong? He decided to go on vacation with Steven Spielberg, and that is where, but you know what? If he didn't decide to go on vacation, would we have Raiders of the Lost Ark? Would we have Raiders of the Lost Ark if he did not go on vacation with Steven Spielberg? You got to ask yourself these questions on why these things happen. I swear to you, everything happens for a reason. We may not know why, but everything happens for a reason. Thank you. Thank you very much. Fox was so sure it would flop that they let Lucas have full rights to the merchandise. That they did. Yeah, I'm glad he went on vacation. I love Indiana Jones. I love Raiders of the Lost Ark. Thank you very much. Everything happens for a reason, for sure. Did you know there are 3 movies to Blood Rain? No, I don't believe so. I think I've only seen 2 of them, and they weren't that great. Panda, how are you? Star Wars is still in the top 100 global highest gross rating movies of all time. No one has beat it yet, Kaya. The original 1977 version in the box office made $503 million. It was the first film in history to ever go over $300 million in box office. Thank you for those sparks. I do appreciate it. But could you imagine if they didn't go on vacation? We wouldn't have Raiders of the Lost Ark. According to Harrison Ford, during the make of the movie, he and Mark Hamill would usually fool around and not commit to their work, whereas Sir Alec Guinness was when he was not on set. But when Guinness was on set, they would behave like professionals. So I found that interesting and funny as well, that, you know, they were a lot of tomfoolery between those two. Thank you, Egg. Thank you. You get yourself 50,000 limbs. There was a lot of tomfoolery between Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill. And most of the time, they wouldn't take the whole filming professionally. But only when Sir Alec Guinness was on set did they ever take it professionally. Sneaky Tiger, you've never... Sneaky. Have you ever seen Star Wars? Like the 1977, the very first one? I loved Kristen Loken from the underrated Painkiller Jan TV show. It was underrated. It was a great picture. The Force is strong. Here, come to the dark side. We have brownies. Exactly. Thank you, Ake. Thank you for those embers. Alec Guinness and Peter Cushing would have chess matches between takes. There was a lot of things that went on in this movie, and I really wish I could have done like a Star Wars by itself, because there is so much with Star Wars. Do you guys remember the cell block scene with the intercom and the intercom conversation between Harrison Ford? What card is that? Oh, it's a timeout card. Yeah, we don't have any Streamloots that show up on this scene either, guys. But we are 70 cards now redeemed out of 150 for our redemption for Streamloots. I'm not ranked enough to do a big drop. Back to lurk. Lurk away, Miss Blue. System's normal. How are you? Okay, so that area where Harrison Ford didn't learn his lines, it was spontaneous. So the intercom conversation in the cell block, so that it would sound spontaneous, he didn't learn. He actually did not learn it, did not memorize it, came up on his own, so it would feel very real, and it does feel real. Jar Jar Binks is my second favorite Star Wars. Very cool, very cool. In early drafts of the script, R2-D2 could speak standard English, and he had a rather foul vocabulary. Although all of R2's English speech was removed, many of C-3PO's reactions to it were left in. So R2-D2 had very foul language and spoke standard English. And they removed that and left C-3PO's reactions. So throughout the movie, you see some of C-3PO's reactions with R2-D2, and those were left in there, even though our R2-D2's foul language was removed from the scene. That's why you get the, oh my, no wonder it was such a classic scene. Yes, it was. It really was. Everyone remembers that cell block scene. Remember, you can download all the images today from Reaper's Twitter. Can I get Reaper's Twitter posted? We have a command, ! Reaper, please. Darth Maul. Yeah. Thank you for those sparks, guys. Halfway. Mwah, thank you for that host. I do appreciate it. Your Chewbacca. Chewbacca is my number one. And then Princess Leia. But yeah, that's where you get C-3PO's surprise reactions in some of the stuff that is said, is because of R2-D2's original vocabulary. So we know the voice of Darth Vader, but do we know who played the body of Darth Vader? James Earl Jones and David Prowse, who played the voice and body of Darth Vader, respectively, have never met. One played the voice, which was James Earl Jones, and the other one played the body of Darth Vader, which was David Prowse. They have never met. Two people that did the movie never met. I admit that I love Tank Girl. Yes, Lori, she's the best. What if Darth Vader fight the Avengers? I don't know. I don't really know too much about the Avengers. The lightsabers. We all love the lightsabers. We all love the lightsabers. Do you know how they created? Oh, Boba Fett is one of my favorites as well. I have a Boba Fett keychain. I have a few Boba Fett stuff. He's one of my favorites. Thank you for the auto host fun uniform. David Prowse got screwed over on the day of the face reveal in Jedi. Yes, he did. David Prowse is banned by George Lucas from attending any official Star Wars conventions and events. Well, there's some shit that went down. There is some shit that went down. He'll could probably destroy most of them. Probably, Prince. I wouldn't doubt it. Fat Joe 321, welcome to the Horde. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, right? Yeah, Han Solo. Definitely, definitely. We all love the lightsaber. And now the lightsaber sound effect is a combination of a hum of an idling 35mm movie projector and the feedback generated by passing a stripped microphone cable by a television. So that is the sound effect when you have the lightsaber. Was a idling 35mm movie projector and the feedback generated by a passing stripped microphone cable by a television. And that is how they come up with the iconic sound. We all know that lightsaber sound. That is how they came up with it. I thought that was kind of cool. I thought that was really interesting in how they came up with the sound of the lightsaber, because that's an iconic sound. You hear it in everything, in the commercials. People copy that in Spaceballs. Like, you see and hear that sound, and that is what that sound is from, and that's how they created it. My Halloween was great, Big. It was great. They also used a wooden pole wrapped in reflective material for the effect themselves. For the lightsabers themselves, yes. They used a few different things for the lightsabers, but for the sound generating, it's not just an automated sound. They actually did these things together to create that sound. They weren't sure how a lightsaber was going to sound. They had a general idea of how it was going to sound. They did not know how to come up with that sound, and they started playing with different things. And that is what they did. Again, I really wish I could have done Star Wars by itself, but the way we have the show set out, we needed to add it in with a group. I always wondered, what about the sound of a TIE fighter? I don't believe I have that information in here. I have Boba Fett signed photo for... Oh, that is awesome, Reaper. That is awesome. I can't wait for the Mandalorian. Only reason I'm getting Disney Plus? Oh, I don't like Disney. I took a film class and we covered Star Wars sound effects because they were groundbreaking, Kea. Star Wars was very groundbreaking. When we go forward in time and we look at future movies and future sci-fi movies, Star Wars did break the mold. And a lot of places, a lot of teaching that gets done in movies, whether it's GFX or SFX, come from Star Wars. A lot of the curriculum come from the movie Star Wars. Thank you, Ake, for those. Thank you for the embers. I love all the work Carrie Fisher did to remove the stigma of mental health. We have some stuff on Carrie Fisher as well. She did a lot for mental health. And we do have some information on Carrie Fisher. Thank you for those embers. Thank you very much. Yeah, we also covered Psycho, because Psycho was another groundbreaking for horror movies. Believe it or not. Mark Hamill held his breath for so long during the trash compactor scene that he broke blood vessels in his face. Subsequent shots are only from the side view. Have you ever noticed that? That when you see Mark Hamill for the trash compactor and some scenes after it, it's only the side view of him? And Regal, I will make this manual going forward from today. I will make this manual so they don't go off as quick. Warpig, thank you, hun. Thank you so much for that auto host. I don't like Disney. I just don't like them. They're greedy. They're greedy. And they lied to us as children. They're greedy and they gave us false hopes. And I'm not liking them because they're taking a lot of 20th Century Fox and hiding it in their vault. Do you know what that means for many horror movies? Do you know what that means for many horror movies? They are literally taking aliens and some of their future shows of aliens, like the movies, and putting them in their vault. When they put these movies in the vault, we don't get to buy them. We don't get to watch reruns of them. They're in there and stuck in there and hidden in there until Disney decides to release them again. So Disney can go, yes, Disney can go to hell. Yeah, we can definitely do one, Whispers. We can definitely do one. Yeah. Disney is greedy sons of bitches. Greedy sons of bitches. I am not getting on that topic. It actually flusters me. That means stock up now. Many horror movies and sci-fi movies were done by 20th Century Fox. They're going to go missing. Disney has already said they are going to. They're going to be putting a lot of them in their vault. We all know what happens when they put their movies in the vault. Oh, no, don't be sorry, Amazing. Don't be sorry at all. Zed Dag, hello. I'm not mad at you. Not at all. But yeah, so in the Mark Hamill, when you see Mark Hamill for the rest of the movie, they do side views of him, is because he broke many blood vessels in his face from the trash compactor scene. The trash compactor scene was very smelly. It really was. And Chewbacca's costume smelled after that. Chewbacca's costume didn't smell overly bad because of what they did with the yak hair. But after that trash compactor scene, they could not get the smell out of it. They couldn't. And he held his breath for so long that he bursted bubbles in his blood vessels, and they were noticeable on camera. So they only showed side views of Mark Hamill. Yeah. Chewbacca retained the bad smell for the entire filming after the trash compactor scene. Yeah, that's kind of gross, eh? Kenny Baker has said that often when the cast and crew broke. Now, do you guys know who Kenny Baker is? Before I go any further, do you guys know who Kenny Baker is? Kenny Baker played R2-D2. So Kenny Baker said often when the crew and cast broke for lunch, they would forget him in his R2-D2 outfit and leave him behind. This is a beautiful one of Vader. Yes. Yeah, Kenny Baker, they would leave him behind. They would forget him in his outfit and leave him behind. Kenny Baker was R2-D2. On the first day of filming in the deserts of Tanzania, the country experienced its first major rainstorm in 50 years. Maybe in come 2020, guys, we may do a full-on Star Wars franchise coffee chat of horrors. We will see. And that's where we'll dive deep, real deep, into the franchise and movie. Right? But yeah, Tanzania had no rain. They had their first major rainstorm in 50 years. And that's where part of the filming happened, was in the deserts of Tanzania. There was not, and that's crazy. For the first time, there was a major rainstorm. Deeper and harder, Regal, for sure. My favorite from Star Wars franchise is Katina Band. The Katina Band was awesome. Amazing Halo. Go and Google Disney and 20th Century Fox and see and take a look for yourself on what they're doing. Take a look for yourself what they're doing. There's a reason why I haven't spoken about it on air. I do like this one. This is a beautiful image. Again, all of the imagery that you see here today and all of the research will be in Coffee Chat of Horrors and Reaper 1923's channel in my Discord. If we can get, thank you, Regal. Thank you for popping that Discord link out. Kenny Baker was also in another one of today's movies, Flash Gordon. To me, John Williams was half of George Lucas and Steven Steele. Yes, Brocluse. Can me and Devil switch spots? And nope. So according to Mark Hamill, studio executives were very unhappy with the way Chewbacca looked and attempted to give Chewbacca shorts. They considered Chewbacca to be naked. Ooh, Devil Dog sliding up in there with 100K limbs. He's like, no way. Devil Dog shot your ass down. I grew up on Star Wars and my grandparents then. I remember the VHS. I own the first 3 on VHS. Yeah. Kenny Baker was originally going to play Wicket in Return of the Jedi, but fell ill and the part was given to Warwick Davis. Interesting information there, SSJ. Interesting. I love how you guys control each other with those cards as well. But yeah, could you imagine Chewbacca in shorts? The studio executives were unhappy. They really fought hard to get Chewie dressed because they felt Chewie being naked was not correct. And everybody fought against the studio executives. Could you imagine Chewbacca with a pair of shorts on? I wouldn't be surprised if they wanted Chewbacca to wear sweatpants under shorts, which was popular during that decade. It really was, Brocluse. It really was. It would have been funny. Of course it would have been funny, but come on now. It's not like Chewbacca had a set hanging and swinging, right? Not like he had anything dangling down there. Nothing was swinging around. Not like he actually had a set. It was all fucking fur. Unfortunately, Wolverine, during my coffee chat of horrors is based on horror, sci-fi, and thriller. I don't really do much about Marvel. I don't know a lot about Marvel either because I'm not a huge fan. Sweatpants and leg warmers were the 80s. It was the 80s. Aerobics. You remember aerobics? Kakashi. Were you sleeping? Wild Moonflower. Thank you for that host. John Williams and George's ex-wife Marcia were essentially to success of those early Star Wars films. There was a lot of information for Star Wars I just could not get into today. Well, we don't know a lot about the Wookiee reproduction. No, we don't. We definitely don't. We definitely don't. How much did I don't know. I didn't get into that. I didn't get a lot of information, like all of the information we could have gotten because it's a big show today. One thing I thought was interesting was George Lucas had to pay, yes, because he didn't have credits in the beginning of Star Wars. It's crazy some of the shit that he got in trouble for as well. Yeah, that they were, Kea. Exclamation point Morg if you haven't done it. Carrie Fisher was a well-endowed woman, and her breasts were taped down. Her breasts were taped down with gaffer's tape, as her costume did not permit any lingerie to be worn underneath. So, she is famous for saying, as we all know, there is no underwear in space. And, well, things to hold her jiggly bits together and make them smaller was tape. They taped the tatas down. That they did. And she has well known to say, as we all know, there is no underwear in space. Yes, gaffer's tape sucks because she had no lingerie on underneath. What you've seen is what you've seen. She had nothing on underneath. So they taped down her boobs and a few other things to keep things in check. You never know, Prime. You never know. Yeah, Outer Frost is exactly what they did. Hi, little one. Thank you for those embers. Thank you for those gifts as well. I'm loving them. Your name on a bat. Can we make sure we have them in Discord? Then I will write your names on the bats and skulls. Yeah, in check. Yes, they did. Which is funny. I really liked this pencil work. I thought it was a nice touch. But yeah, that's where she gets to sing. As we all know, there is no underwear in space. And if you watch the movie Fanboys, have anybody here watched Fanboys? Yeah, Dahi. And boobs. Boobs have been offensive along with nipples for many, 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 many years. Many years. The boobs and nipples are offensive. And again, a lot of it, even though there was some, sexy clothing that Princess Leia wore, right? They were making sure that nothing was shown. There was a time when belly buttons were offensive. Yes, Brocluse, there was. I mean, their underwear anywhere? I mean, really? Seriously. Only in Metro Birdman store is there underwear. I love your face, amazing Halo. I do. I love seeing you, sweetness. And you get your name on a bat. Nice. But that was the 40s and 50s. Yes, actually a lot of things were taboo in the 40s and 50s. Having a husband and wife sitting in bed from the Munsters was taboo as well and was not allowed on TV. Star Trek had underwear. Oh, we have some stuff about Star Trek too, which is coming up next. And still are. They are, Kea. Leia's hairdo was inspired by the women of the Mexican Revolution. Nice. Like I said, there's a lot of information that I could not put in today's show. Just because we have so much, and it's 11 o'clock now, and I still have a shit ton of stuff to go over with you guys. So I'm gonna I gotta go through and make this quick. We are going to watch the Star Trek original trailer, 1966 original series trailer. For those of you that don't know what Star Trek is, I would think you guys would know. GG's, you gotta go with your aunt? Okay, Sneaky Tiger, I love your face. Thank you so very much for hanging out with me and the Horde. And we're gonna turn this up as well, guys. This is Star Trek.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
Okay, so that was the original TV series. We're going to talk about the TV series, and we're also going to talk about the movie, but not much into the TV series are we going to discuss. I'm going to see if I can get you the Star Trek motion picture. Let's see if I can get you the trailer for the motion picture. Let me see. Is this it? Fox Arrival. Oh, I can't even get you guys a short trailer. Well, we're not going to watch the trailer because these freaking trailers are huge. Yeah, you couldn't find only the intro. Yeah. So we are not going to watch the trailer to that, but that is a trailer for the original 1969 so Star Trek aired from 1966 to 1969 with 79 episodes. We are going to go in depth. Sorry guys, hold on. Okay. So originally it aired from 1966 to 1969. It had 79 episodes in total. And this show inspired many, many sci-fi movies, even Star Wars. So that whole Star Trek, Star Wars thing, Star Trek came first. Right? You've met William Shatner. He's awesome. Hi, Vald. Sorry, I'm blue. Just don't get too close and you won't catch it. Oh, no. What's wrong, Vald? You ever see Spartacus series? No, I have not seen the Spartacus series. I've seen Barbarella, though. Now, we are going to discuss Star Trek the Motion Picture. Star Trek the Motion Picture came out after Star Wars in 1979. It had a... Okay, there we go. Okay, so 1979 budget of $35 million. And it hit box offices and made $139 million. It did not make as much as Star Wars. William Shatner also created Tech War. There's a lot of stuff with William Shatner. So this film, who here has seen this film? I have. This film takes place in the year 2273. Damn right, it didn't take to make as much. No, it did not. And it was still a great movie. It was definitely a great movie. Oh, sorry. It's the spawns. I need to answer the spawns. A family is always first, especially my kids. Okay, so James Doohan also devised the Vulcan words heard during the Kolinar sequence. The scenes were originally shot in English, and when it was decided to change the dialogue to Vulcan, Doohan wrote lines that fit the existing lip movements. So it was actually done in English, and then used the lip movements to change it to Vulcan. Some of the subtitles were rearranged to make this less obvious as well. All right. I gotta make sure. Pick E up when done. All right. Sorry about that. Hulu has Star Trek, except for Star Trek Discovery. So does Netflix has a few of them as well. He also hosted Rescue 911. Yeah. Martin Luther King Jr. was a fan of Star Trek, convinced Nichols not to leave the show. Really? Romulans to dark elves? Vulcans are like the sci-fi equivalent to elves. Yes, killing to orcs. Now, so the lip movements that you see, the whole shot was done in English, and then the Vulcan was spoken afterwards. So basically, he read the lips of the actors and then put Vulcan into that. I thought that was kind of cool because it's not Vulcan right off the bat. They're not. The script was not written in Vulcan. It was afterwards. Aurora and Kirk had an interracial. Yes, they did. That was controversial. Controversial. The Picard series. They were just flying around space looking for one phaser to rule them all. When Kirk addresses the crew prior to launching, much of the crew were extras who were noted Star Trek fans, including Bijou Trimble, co-organizer of lettering and writing the campaign that kept the original Star Trek, the original series from 1966, alive for a third season. So many of the extras that you see were fans of the movie, fans of the show, the whole kit and caboodle. And they were considered the extras. They weren't actual actors. William Shatner, who saw the completed movie for the first time at the world premiere, was struck by the overall sluggishness of the movie. He was convinced that Star Trek franchise would die right then and there. In an interview, he said, because he was asked in an interview about that, and he said, well, that's it. We gave it our best shot. It wasn't that good, and it will never happen again. And then later on in life, after the fact of this movie and that quote, he said, but having recalled his reaction 15 years later, he added, shows what I know. Okay, Canada can stop sending you winter storms. I know, winter is here for us, and we have got major storms. It's still snowing here. I love that Star Trek focusing on diplomacy. Yes, that's what they did. Interracial as well on their spaceship, which was controversial back then too, right? But again, remember George Lucas going on vacation thinking Star Wars would flop? Look at Shatner thinking that Star Trek was not that great and the film and franchise will die. And he was completely wrong. Completely wrong. And it's so funny how these big names and actors saw no life or no real goal for these movies. Another assessment at the time that was dead wrong. Hell yeah, Dahi. Ghetto. Mwah. Good day, Ghetto. Thank you for that host. But it's kind of funny. It is kind of funny, right? It was understood in the script, but not stated in the film, that Commander William Decker was the son of Commodore Matthew Decker from Star Trek, the original series, The Doomsday Machine from 1967. Yup. Interracial anything was big back then. Huge back then. And having a TV show from the 1960s, having a female black actress was huge. And the whole on-scene kiss, holy shit, that was an uproar, right? So you got to think about the molds that these movies have broken, not only on a movie set or SFX or on the GFX side of things, but in real life, how many boundaries they broke in a time where that was not a good thing. I am Sinister. Thank you for that auto host. I appreciate it. Isn't the Michael Myers mask? It is not based on. It is a William Shatner mask, mama. The Michael Myers mask is a actual Halloween mask of William Shatner. Kirk had sex with aliens at the time, all the time. Did you see how sexy those aliens were? No, you didn't do the interracial dating either at that time. Aurora's communication earpiece are the only original props from the original Star Trek, the original series from 1966. They were dug out of storage when it realized when someone had forgotten to make new ones for the movie. So when the movie came out, they needed the earpieces, so they went back into the TV series and dug out her earpiece so she could reuse them. There were comic crossovers with Star Trek and Doctor Who. That they were. Yep. Right? Most of the sci-fi movies were all about future views. I hate segregation. Let's not have that shit in the future. Yeah, it was. There was a lot of undertones to try to teach the people, teach humans, look, even though we may be different, we can still live together. We fight alongside each other. We can defend one another. Why bother with having us segregated, right? They even showed that with aliens and how they would interact with other planets and aliens on other planets. They looked pretty hot, but I don't think I could do a green chick. Something's got to be wrong down there. Oh, you got to think of, what is it like down there? Right? The cast hated their uniforms a lot. They did not like their uniforms. Their uniforms required assistance in order to be removed. In fact, one of the cast conditions for returning in the movie sequel is that they had to have new uniforms. So most of the cast that you see in the sequels, they demanded new uniforms. They should not need assistance getting in and out of their uniforms. They hated them so much that they demanded it, and that they would not play in a next movie if they did not change the way the uniforms were. The uniforms that appear in this movie are never seen again in any Star Trek episode. What appears to be a buckle on the uniform was intended to be a device that relays medical readings to the medical bay computer as well. So if you see that there, that is what that was supposed to be. It also had a crossover with X-Men. Especially the guys in the red shirts. Right? You go first. If it doesn't eat you, I'll try it. There's no room for racism on the bridge. Take back to your cabin, mister. Yep, they knew that. They knew. They definitely did. Blue, green, yellow, it doesn't matter. What's up, Trauma? I want to get a custom made. Nice, Cam Facer. Nice. Gene Roddenberry so loved the main theme from the score that he reused it for Star Trek The Next Generation in 1987. And it was also reused in Star Trek The Final Frontier in 1989, after not being used in the second, third, and fourth films. So he loved it that much that he reused it several times over. Then look up Blue Waffles and tell me if that changes your mind. Oh my God. Leonard Nimoy agreed to appear in the film only after Paramount agreed to a settlement of his lawsuit against them for allowing his television series likeness to be used by advertisers. Now, Leonard Nimoy was really mad at the fact that Heineken beer was allowed to use Nimoy's likeness. So when Nimoy saw the now famous Heineken beer advertisement that features Patrick Phillips, he was pissed off. And he was like, I am not doing this next movie. And Spock was everything. You could not change that out. You could not change it out. Not through the TV series, not through the movies. You could not have another actor doing those after you have the original cast from the TV series in the movie. He was mad and was like, I'm not doing this. Paramount, you need to figure shit out. And they did. They did. If they didn't, he wouldn't have been in there. And do you think Star Trek would have done what they have done And in future films, if they would have changed out Leonard Nimoy, don't look up blue waffles. Especially if you're at work. The Vigor. We all know the Vigor. The Vigor prop was so large and so involved with so much work that one end of it, while it was being used in scenes, was still being built on others. So they were showing you one part, right? They were showing you one part with the Vigor in it, and it was still being worked on. That's how massively huge the Vigor was. Oh no, Metro. She did not. Too late. It's been unseen. Yes, the Wiggles do, Mama. They definitely do. Oh my God. Balance of Terror is one of my favorite OG Star Trek episodes. Don't be looking up blue waffles. Don't look at it. I died laughing at her reaction. I have not Googled it. I have not seen it. So I am not Googling it. But that's how big the Vigor was. The Vigor was huge. And that is crazy big. Like, I just can't believe that they were using the Vigor in some scenes and it was still being built at the same time as it was being used in those scenes. No, I'm not. This bitch ain't looking that shit up. The film takes place 4 years after the Star Trek, the original series, Turnabout Intruder from 1969. Now, you're going to see where the intruder from 1969 from Star Trek actually plays a role in the movies. Yeah, the Vigor. Don't Google blue waffle. No, don't. Get heavy to take a hit? No. All this sci-fi made talk made me want to go watch my favorite show. Nice. Why did it delete that? That is weird. It's like it's a command. All this sci-fi made talk made me want to go watch my favorite show. What the hell? Why did it go delete? Why did it delete it? I didn't delete it. There's no keywords in it. That's weird. Anyways, Turnabout Intruder from 1969, the final episode of the original series. The film was released a decade after the original series ended, but it played a part. Battle Yoshi. Mwah, thank you for that host. Huge package. Is that what you were talking about? Missed it. But yeah, a decade after the original. Interesting, right? Thank you, Pampered. That's Pampered's favorite gift up there. Thank you for those sparks, Pampered. I appreciate it. There's a huge package for you. Had this movie aired as a 2-hour television series premiere as intended, the episode title would have been In Thy Image. So again, another sci-fi movie that was supposed to be a 2-hour television series premiere, because that's what it was intended to, would have been called In Thy Image instead of. You found Waldo. Welcome to the Horde. Thank you for the follow. GG's on that heist, guys. GG's. My hand is so cold. Some of the clothing worn by the aliens in the movie, seen on the Starfleet headquarters, was made from unused bolts of cloth left over from the Ten Commandments movie from 1956. Which is really interesting. From 1956. That I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Ten Commandments movie from 1956, but a lot of the aliens' clothing and unused bolts were and cloth. That's how they made the aliens' clothing in the movie on the Starfleet headquarters. Wayne Yo, welcome to the Horde. Thank you for the follow. And Wayne Yo, thank you for that host. I do appreciate it. No. We have no KY jelly and shredded condoms in this sci-fi episode. That was so far we have found out KY jelly for Predator and shredded condoms and KY jelly for the xenomorph and aliens. Just wait till next week's episodes though. Next week we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of sci-fi and next Sunday, and we don't know what we're going to find. It was just slapping me around. It's because you want my balls. Exactly. Balls, baby.
All the balls.
Okay, so Marcy Lafferty, who plays Chief DeFalco, was married to William Shatner at the time. Oh,
we've got serial killer dropping balls on the stream. Make sure you slap them, tug them, pull them, whatever you want to do, but make sure you hit them 200 times. 200 times.
Oh, well, thank you. How are you doing today, Wayno? Predator and Aliens will never be the same for me again. No, bro, Clues, it'll never be the same for anybody again. Thank you guys for those sparks. Thank you so very much. It is greatly appreciated, those sparks. The next up that we're gonna watch is Doctor Who. I have so much to get into. Oh my god, I still have so much to do. And it is, yeah, oh goodness gracious, great balls of fire. We've got so much to get in still. So much to get in. I'm gonna try to go through this stuff. The next up is Doctor Who. We will be talking about mainly the entire thing, but a lot of the information is going to come from the original airing of Doctor Who. And we're going to watch the 2005 to 2015, the 10th anniversary trailer, okay? I hit the balls 100 times. Serial has to do 20 jumping jacks. Ooh, serial killer. Hello, Jessica. How are you? But yeah, Predators and Aliens will never be the same for me. No worries, Prime. You have an amazing day. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. We're going to discuss all the Doctors. And I'm trying to get through this quick. We are going to discuss all the Doctors. And bits and pieces throughout it. Bits and pieces throughout it. Back to gaming. You have fun gaming, Prime. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your weekend. 64 hits, guys. Zippy World 2K19, welcome to the Horde. Thank you for the follow. We are now going to watch the 2005 to 2015 10th anniversary trailer. The reason why is because there's probably not any good original Doctor Who trailers, okay?
Of one country, one continent, on one planet that's a corner of a galaxy, that's a corner of a universe that is forever growing and shrinking.
Who is your favorite Doctor Who?
Remaining the same for a single millisecond, and there is so much to see.
I love Mars Attack.
Because it goes so fast. I'm not running away from things, I'm running to them before they flare and fade forever.
The Doctor is a legend woven throughout history.
He has saved your lives.
That they were, SSJ. We'll get into that too.
He's like fire and ice and rage. He's ancient and forever. He burns at the center of time and he can see the turn of the universe.
Doctor.
All right, Mama.
Doctor Who. It's more than just a secret, isn't it?
I'm the Doctor.
I'm a Time Lord.
I'm a Time Lord.
2,000 years.
That didn't come into 1969.
Yeah.
Well, what are you standing there for? Come on!
It's called the TARDIS, listen.
It's bigger on the inside.
It can travel anywhere in time and space. And it's mine.
So where are we going?
Further than we've ever gone before.
Your choice. Wherever, whenever, anywhere in time and space.
Doctor, what do we do?
Run for your life!
Geronimo.
Watch me run.
Being with you, I can't tell what's right and what's wrong anymore.
It's better that way.
Tell me about it. Is it always this danger?
Haven't we figured that one out yet? Running away with a spaceman in a box. Anything can happen to you.
That's what I'm counting on.
Fantastic.
Halsey, shut up! There's one thing you never put in a trap if you're smart, if you value your continued existence. If you have any plans about seeing tomorrow, there's one thing you never ever put in a trap.
Daleks, Doctor.
They always survive when I lose everything.
I've seen them before.
What are they?
Cybermen.
That thing downstairs is gonna kill every last one of us!
My name is the Master.
Don't blink. Blink and you're dead.
Listen.
I got information on that.
You are monsters! That is the role you seem determined to play, so it seems that I must play mine. The man that stops the monsters.
He saves planets, rescues civilizations.
defeats terrible creatures. Run, you clever boy.
This is not a decision you will ever be able to live with.
Leave this planet or I'll stop.
Well then, here we go again.
You will die, and I will live. Just remember who's standing in your way.
Because this is what I'm gonna do.
This plane is protected.
I am the Doctor, and I'm gonna win!
Pretty friggin' epic, eh? We got a good information on Doctor Who, though. We got a lot of information on Doctor Who. Now, you guys like Doctor Who, right? Who's Doctor Who? I'm old, 51, but I haven't seen it. You haven't seen Doctor Who, Amazing Halo? I have seen Doctor Who. Take it to your in. Yes, we are. Well, no, Zippy. What we're doing is this Coffee Chat of Horrors. Today, this month is Sci-Fi month. We have discussed everything so far, from Battlestar Galactica, Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers, Star Wars, and Star Trek, and we're now on to Doctor Who. This is Sci-Fi month here, and Coffee Chat of Horrors is my web show that I do. It's the only horror-based web show on Mixer. And today, like I said, this month is all sci-fi. November is the month of sci-fi. Now we're on Doctor Who. Doctor Who was created in the United Kingdom. It aired in 1963 and went till 1989. We're going to get into the remakes and all that other stuff. Well, not remakes, but extra seasons. The Ghosts and Super Mario Brothers are just like the Weeping Angels. Yes. Yes. David Tennant leaving was rough. You love sci-fi and horror. Awesome, Zippy. Well, I host this show every Sunday at 9:30 a.m. Mountain Time right here on Mixer. And we mainly talk about horror, sci-fis, and thrillers. And this month is all of November is sci-fi. So original Doctor Who aired from 1963 and ended in 1964 with 42 episodes, with 9 missing at that time. 9 missing at that time. The first episode's view count, the first episode overshadowed by the assassination of JFK the previous day, was watched by 4.4 million viewers. The episode was repeated the following week, and the program gained popularity with audiences reaching about 6 million views, particularly with the introduction of the Daleks in the second episode, which peaked at 10.4 million viewers. This is in 1963. Now, Kennedy was shot the day before, and the next day, Doctor Who aired. 4.4 million. They repeated that same view a week later and was 6 million. Then they introduced the Daleks, and then 10.4 million viewers. So that's kind of friggin' huge. It maintained its audience count at about 9 million viewers. At about 9 million. Oh, not Amy. I just can't seem to get onto. Oh no, Jesse. Most of the soundboard is closed. The only ones that are open is the social media, the mod board, and the spark dump buttons. And the only reason why is just because it's the web show. My parents watched it and I thought it was stupid, but we only had we only had one TV at that time. Even back then in my day as well. Serial killer. It maintained its audience members back then from 63 to 64 at 9 million viewers. 9 million viewers. Do you know that Doctor Who was originally created for kids? It was created to be a kids television series. Their target audience was children at that time that they created this. Not adults, but adults fell in love with it. And so they ran with it. Now the Doctor, you heard him in the trailer say he is the Time Lord, right? That did not come into effect until 1969. So he did not become the Time Lord until 1969. Now the best and bad person who played the Master of the Derricks, my brain's all in, lost everything in one shot. No, that sucks. You can get more brains, though. We can give you more brains. We have the technology and we have the power. We can give you more brains. The TARDIS, do you know that they had a hard time copywriting that TARDIS? No worries, Whispers. Please just let Regal know. Xbox. Halfway Xbox Hans. Doctor's real name. The doctor's real name remains a complete mystery to all, but a very small number of individuals, including the Master, Riversong, and Clara Oswald, know his true name. Exactly, Level, exactly. And it's still, his true name remains a mystery. The Doctor may or may not be a doctor at all. So if you've ever followed this series, is the Doctor really a doctor? According to the second Doctor, played by Patrick Troughton, the answer is yes, or at least he thinks so. In the fourth season episode, The Moon Base, the Doctor's companion, Polly, asked what audience had been wondering for years, are you a medical doctor? To which the Doctor replies, yes, I think I was once, Polly. I think I took a degree once in Glasgow, 1888, I think. So technically, is he a doctor or isn't he a doctor? That is still a question that goes to this day. So he thinks he did back in 1888 in Glasgow. Now, I'm probably saying that name wrong, but it is what it is. The first Doctor's health problems led to the idea of regeneration. Hi, snipers. He's a shape-shifting alien. No, he's not. The Doctor? No. Is Dr. Dre a doctor? No one knows. Right? How are you, Mr. Q? Listen to this. Listen, we got a lot of information on the Doctor. 1888, medical knowledge was outdated. Feeling ill, he recommends leeches and bloodletting. He doesn't become the Time Lord until 1969. I did a lot of research on this. I play a doctor on Mixer. Right? So now the reason why we were able to have different doctors in different seasons was because of the regeneration. At the end of his time, the Doctor regenerates into the new Doctor, and the whole process starts all over again, sometimes with new companions. It was also said that the regeneration process is supposed to feel like a bad acid trip. So, and that's what the whole regeneration process and how they were able to have new doctors each time with new seasons, and when they actually came about Doctor Who and they kept having other doctors, that's how they were able to get away with it without people boycotting the show. Because of the Doctor's health problems in the original one, that is why they came up with regeneration. Ridley Scott was supposed to design the Daleks. I have met the Doctor Who actors in person, like Peter Davison and Colin Baker. Nice. I've only seen one episode of the show. I should binge it. You should. It's definitely good. Don't you mean you play Doctor when I'm not on Mixer? They pulled Doctor Who from US Netflix. Did they really? I wonder why. The Daleks almost didn't make it into the show revival in 2005. Oh my goodness, SK, thank you. You get your name on a skull. We're gonna be writing people's names on the skull after the stream. Thank you so much for those embers, and it is nice to officially meet you as well. You are joining us for a Coffee Chat of Horrors Sci-Fi Edition. Every Sunday I host a horror web show. It's the only one on Mixer. And it goes, this month is all sci-fi. And right now we're talking about Doctor Who. So the Daleks almost did not make it into the show's revival in 2005. The estate of Terry Nation, who created the mutants, had initially attempted to block their return to the new series, claiming that it would ruin the brand of the Daleks. Now, could you imagine a Doctor Who without them? Could you imagine a Doctor Who without them at all, if they weren't allowed? Yeah. Now, that would be from 2005 and on, right? Because they fought to not have them in there. They thought, the estate thought it would ruin it. The Doctor hawked computers in the 1980s. You guys remember some of the original? Thank you. I am a huge horror fan. I'm really a huge horror fan, and I've been collecting for many, 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 many years. This is just a portion of my collection. So welcome to the Horde. Welcome, and thank you for your follow. I appreciate it. Exterminate, exterminate, right? But the Doctor had computers in the 1980s. Computers were not a big thing in the 1980s, nor did they fully exist back then. They did sort of, kind of, but not the way we use them today. We do. There's a female Doctor. Yes, there is. There is. It took 6 years to trademark the TARDIS. You guys know that? That TARDIS took 6 years to trademark. They weren't allowing it to trademark. In 1996, after selling the TARDIS branded merchandise, the BBC attempted to officially trademark the Doctor's preferred mode of transportation, but the move was met with resistance from the Metropolitan Police, as a time travel machine is essentially a police box. And in the UK, that is what their police boxes look like, is the TARDIS. And so they had a hard time trying to trademark that. 6 years to get a trademark. That's a long time if you think about it. I believe now we have a female Doctor. We do. I have not seen it. I need to really catch up on the Doctor Who. I've slacked severely. Looks like McDonald's version of the Iron Man, right? A Doctor now wears what, when, where, and why. Been waiting for new episodes to show up on Amazon? They haven't yet, hey? David Tennant became an actor with a specific goal of playing Doctor Who. His goal when he became an actor is for him to be Doctor Who. He loved it. That is how he got into acting. He wanted to be Doctor Who. And his dreams came true, right? Do you know that Catherine Zeta-Jones was almost and could have been a doctor? Yep. When I was looking in different things, I had Batman, Goddess, and Regal helping me do all of these research. On top of their research, I also added in some more interesting effects as well. In some of them, not all of them, just because there was so much more in them. And Doctor Who is so big. Oh, but the female Doctor is bad. Oh, yeah, he is an amazing actor. Matt Smith auditioned for Sherlock Holmes a week before auditioning for Doctor Who. That was one of the doctors. So I don't know who your favorite Doctor is. The 10th Doctor married the 5th Doctor's daughter, who played the 10th Doctor's daughter. That's kind of confusing, eh? The 10th Doctor married the 5th Doctor's daughter, who played the 10th Doctor's daughter. Hell yeah, Dillinger. Zeta, she's gorgeous. That would have been good for her because she could have went back in time to make her husband young again. Yep. Tom Holland is going to be Doctor Who. Is he? Interesting. More than 100 episodes are lost. Back in the 1960s and the 1970s, archiving media was much more difficult and physical process. As a result, more than 100 episodes of the show's original incarnation was either deleted, destroyed, or otherwise lost. There's 100 episodes that we probably will not see, and probably have not seen, that we will never see. You're going to be the next Doctor Who? The weeping angels aren't props. Did you guys know that? Those weeping angels were played by actresses in stoned costumes who had to stay very, very still. Those were not cement props. Those were not wooden props. Those were not props. Those were real people in stoned costumes. And they had to stand super still. If you haven't seen the Weeping Angels, or if you haven't seen any, I can actually Google you a picture of them. But the Weeping Angels, they were creepy, but they were real people. Is this an every Sunday chat? Are you reading a website? No, I actually research a lot of the stuff, SK. Every Sunday we host a web show, and all week long I do the research for said web show. I pull different websites, actual books from my own collection, and I research everything. I also fact check everything we research. So the show takes me about a week long to make and create, and I have help of Reaper1923, who helps create all the artwork, tattoos, and cosplays that you see. And this week we had help with Batman, Goddess, and Regal helping me do the research. We still did We still did fact checking. I still had to fact check everything they found, as well as add more information into them. I am not in the UK. I am in Canada. The Weeping Angels were great. Yeah. Yeah, when you were 6 years old? Nice. The episode they were in was some of the best. They were, right? They were real people. They were real people. And not just props. The noise the TARDIS makes was created by rubbing piano strings with a key. So they know that sound that the TARDIS makes, that's how they created it, was rubbing the piano key strings, with the key. A lot of destroyed episodes of The Doctor have been recreated. Yep. Thank you, Ham. Black and white is for our coffee chat of horrors. Thank you. How are you doing today, hon? I'm glad you had more help, Rod. These sci-fi shows are a lot more work. Yeah, they are. They're a ton more work than my normal horror. I'm doing more information in one, and I'm not even done yet. I still have a show left. So I may still go on beyond 12. That's how much information we have. In early draft of the very first Doctor Who script, it strongly implied that the Doctor is planning to kill future companions Ian and Barbara in order to protect his secret. This was quickly taken out. I like this one. I love black and whites. And I'm glad I had help too. Do you see how big this show is? And I still have more to go. We still have Twilight Zone, Outer Limits, Lost in Space, The Invaders, and Time Tunnel today. Thank you. From what I know, I am the only horror and sci-fi web show on Mixer. I'm not 100% sure, Bruno. In early drafts, he was supposed to kill Ian and Barbara in order to protect his secret from coming out. Karen Gillan played Amy Pound on Doctor Who before she was playing Nebula. Yes. Spoilers, Bruno. There we go. Spoilers. Oh, we don't want spoilers, guys. Hi, Spooksy. Hi, Sync. How are you? In 1988, Paramount Pictures wanted to make a Doctor Who movie starring either Michael Jackson or Bill Cosby as the Doctor, but that quickly died the fuck off. Could you imagine Michael Jackson as Doctor Who? Could you imagine Michael Jackson or Bill Cosby as Doctor Who? The only one that's fun to watch, at least. None better than Ra. Well, thank you. I do. Actually, I live stream to YouTube at the same time. Because some people have problems on Mixer. This web show, Night Flak, is about sci-fi classics today. It's called Coffee Chat of Horrors, and this month is Sci-Fi Edition. We have spoke about Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers. Last Sunday, we talked about the birth of sci-fi, where we did War of the Worlds, The Day the Earth Stood Still, because that was the birth of sci-fi. You can find them on my YouTube channel. Last week's episode of Coffee Chat of Horrors. Today's episode is about the groundbreaking sci-fi that came in, going with the era of that time, where we spoke about Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers, Star Wars, Battlestar Galactica, and Star Trek. Bill Cosby as Dr. Date Rape, right? Right? Not today. No Stargate today, Wild. The greatest horror film of all time? Oh, there's so many that there's not an all-timer. I'm a huge fanatic of horror, and I just can't pick one. No, I'm not using Restream. I use XSplit, which allows me to stream to 2 different outputs at the same time, simultaneously. Now, I couldn't believe that. That's so funny. Michael Jackson or Bill Cosby. The Doctor has been married 3 times that we know of. One to Queen Elizabeth I, Marilyn Monroe, and River Song. So we know he's been married at least 3 times. In 2009, a group of volunteers clearing a pond in Hampshire, and I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, found a submerged Dalek. It's not clear how it got there. Can you imagine clearing out a pond and finding one of them? Could you imagine? Baby River. Total Recall is a great movie. Really good movie. Those 2 doctors would leave no woman or child safe. Nope. The cops would travel back in time to get those pudding pops. That would. Do you love Puppet Master? Those were great films. Puppet Master is a great film. According to all of the research, he has only been married 3 times that they know of. And I have fact checked this one. I fact check everything. I do not go off of, if I cannot find proof of the said fact in more than one location, I do not use it. So you may say, cause the female get married. Well, yeah, but we're not talking about the female. I've already told you the doctor that we're talking about. Not all of them, not the female one. We have no information on the female one. But the doctors that we are currently talking about, which are all the male doctors, 3 times. And anything that I cannot find information on, if I can only find it on one website, I do not use it. Or 2 websites, if I can't find corresponding, corroborating evidence, I guess it's what we're going to call it. If I can't find the evidence that actually ties into each of these, I do not use it. It may be true, it may not be true, but I do not like giving any information that I cannot find more information upon that. So if you're talking about the female doctor, we're not talking about her in this episode. Bill Cosby versus Freddy Krueger. That's an interesting show. That is an interesting one. The gas masks in The Empty Childs were made part from cans of baked beans after attempts to finding authentic WW2 gas masks failed. They couldn't find gas masks, and the reason why they couldn't find good ones to use is because all of the World War II gas masks contained asbestos. Our men were running around in World War II with gas masks made out of asbestos. Isn't that fucked? Isn't that? Beans are obviously a viable replacement. Yes. But they made it out of baked bean cans. Yep, cans of baked beans. Because they couldn't wear the World War II gas masks. 1, they couldn't find good ones, and 2, they had contained asbestos. Yep, protect yourself from mustard gas. Breathe in asbestos today. The original Daleks, the originals were controlled from inside by a short operator who had manipulated their eye stalks, domes, and arms, as well as flashing the lights on their heads in sync with the actor's voice. John Scott Martin, one of the original Dalek operators, once said, "If you were related to an octopus, then it helped." So in these machines, you had small people inside controlling the arms and all of that stuff and doing everything. On the outside, you had a voice actor. You had the actor doing it, right? That I thought was really cool. I thought that was really cool because that's like old school horror shit right there. Back in the day, they used puppets and people inside of costumes and inside of things instead of CGI. So I thought that was awesome. Yes, the word asbestos. Home. The Doctor has visited many different planets, but his home planet is called Gallifrey. I don't know, I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing that right. But yes, he is not all human. Bow ties. The reason why bow ties became, Gallifrey. Yeah, there's a few words that I mispronounced. Bow ties. Bow ties went up in 94% in sales because of Matt Smith. Matt Smith, in his first appearance as the Doctor, he says bow ties are cool. 94% within a month. Bow tie sales went up. In a month. 94 fucking %. Well, welcome back, Mama. Welcome back. So, all because of one doctor saying bow ties are cool. Advertising. Look what it can do for you. Look what it can do for you. Original Doctor. Now, and again, that's why they were able to do so many doctors in so many episodes, in so many seasons, I should say, because of the regeneration. Too bad everyone wearing bow ties looked like a problem child. They did, Batty. Instances of guys wrongfully thinking they look cool while wearing a bow tie also went up 100%. Yeah, that it did. Our next one is going. Our mods, are you okay for a little bit longer? These ones are gonna go pretty quick. Twilight Zone is next, and it's gonna go pretty quick. Twilight Zone, Outer Limits, Time Tunnel, and Invaders. We do have some trailers that we're gonna watch. Okay, great. We all know that mother effing sound. It's one of my favorites. Let's go. Let's do this. Let's do this. All right. Tell me if you guys need it louder. This is the Twilight Zone.
You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond
Love
it is
this
another
show.
dimension. A dimension of sound. A dimension of sight. A dimension of mind. You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas. You've just crossed over into the Twilight Zone.
No, I didn't want you to start again, silly bastard. PT Bar Pun. Mwah, darling, thank you for that host. I do appreciate it. That is the Twilight Zone. I heard the dog in the Cujo movie was actually a human in a suit. Certain parts was the human in a suit, not everything. We're going to go do a Stephen King in 2020. In 2020, we'll be doing some Stephen King. I have ideas, I have notes, I've got things, because we have an entire year. Remember, Coffee Chat of Horrors was concepted and didn't really start until like March, May, in that area. So I have to still have an entire year worth of stuff every Sunday. How are you doing, PT? Yeah, John Carpenter used part of the theme. We are now talking about the Twilight Zone, 1959. The last episode aired in 1964, giving a total of 156 episodes in total. From 1959 to 1964. We're going to be talking about one of my favorite episodes. Doing well, cleaning and watching streams. Nice. Rod Sterling, do you know that he was a workaholic? And that was one of the reasons why he died at a young age. Twilight Zone and Outer Limits are next on my Amazon Prime. Yeah, I love both of those shows. The Twilight Zone is a science fiction fantasy anthology television series. As an anthology series, each episode presented its own separate story, often a morality play involving people who face unusual or extraordinary circumstances, thus entering the Twilight Zone. Love this show. This is one of the shows I watched as a little girl, and I still watch them all over and over as an adult. I'm doing well. I'm hoping everyone's having a good Sunday. To help save costs, the production staff often used props from science fiction films, with Forbidden Planet, we spoke about last Sunday, being the most fruitful. The series used the film's flying saucer in the classic episode To Serve Man, along with the haunting hour-long episode of Death Ship, which is really cool because we spoke about the birth of science fiction last Sunday, and The Forbidden Planet was one of them. Was one of those that helped birth sci-fi. The scariest episode of the Twilight Zone is 1986 Monsters. That's a good one. That is a good one. Will you be talking about Twilight Zone the movie? No, just the movie was amazing, Mama. We're going to discuss the TV show. We can always do the movie later on. Again, if you guys have ideas on Coffee Chat of Horror web shows that you would like to see, sci-fi, thriller based, as well as horror, and horror comedy, please post them in my Discord. We have a channel called Coffee Chat of Horrors. We have a Crypt of Curiosities in there as well. Please post what you guys would like to see and talk about. Mind you, we have already discussed several horror movies, including the top slashers, Friday the 13th, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Nightmare on Elm Street, Child's Play, and Halloween, and many more previously done in the year. So, Gremlins is and Gremlins will most likely be done in Christmas because for me, that's a Christmas movie. The theme song for Twilight Zone was not introduced to the show until season 2. The famous do-dee-do-do was not heard at all in season 1. That avant-garde jazz theme was composed by Marius Constant, and they chose his music because he was French, and this saved the studio money. So the reason why they used him because he was French, and that being French saved them money from an American composer. The network didn't have to pay union fees for music created outside of the United States. So back then, and still currently today, the networks have to pay fees for music, and it's done by a union. And this is to protect, well, they say it's to protect the musician. Hiring people outside of the United States saved them money on these said fees. The Twilight Zone theme is my grandma's ringtone. Nice. Will you be talking about Twilight, the totally deep and accurate classic film series? Entirely kidding. I think I live about an hour from where Reaper 1923 lives. Oh, really? Interesting. But yes, again, if you're not in my Discord and you want to talk about Coffee Chat of Horrors, or you have ideas, please join it and input your ideas there. All of the artwork that you see from Reaper 1923 and all of the research done by myself, Batman, Goddess, and Regal will be posted in Discord. This is the first series that I have done with extra help. Thank you again, Batman and Regal, for taking the time and helping me do all of this research. And you can see why I needed help this time around. This is a huge show. This edition, I should say, is a huge show. Rod Serling, the creator, only wrote 94 out of 156 episodes of his show. Serling was a workaholic, and he had his workaholic tendencies eventually caught up with him, which as well, he was a chain smoker and eventually died of a heart attack at the age of 50. He had a family history of heart issues, but his chain smoking and his workaholic tendencies, because he was a workaholic, helped produce the heart attack that killed him at the age of 50. And it's such a shame. Could you imagine where he would be? I mean, I'm sure he would have passed away a long time ago, but could you imagine what he could have created or what he could have came up with if he was still alive? If you were an amateur writer in the 1960s or just a fan of the show, you were able to write a script and send it in to be considered for an episode. Yeah, he left a handsome corpse. Definitely did. He definitely did. So if you were a fan or a writer, you could have wrote a script for the show and it could have been used. They received a total of 14,000 scripts. Serling read about 500 out of the 14, and absolutely none of them made it into an episode. Serling did say 2 of them were really good, but they just didn't fit the format of the show, and that's why they weren't aired. So could you imagine potentially having one of your scripts or one of your writings in said episode or season of the show? I thought that would be cool. It's like Fangoria's write-in. Fangoria has a write-in where you can actually write in and advertise. It's like that. It's pretty cool. I'm not endorsing smoking, but that handsome son of a bitch, Rod, made that shit look cool. He really did, Dillinger. He really did. He made it sexy. I will definitely. And I will help you, Whispers. I will definitely help you as well. Serling, the creator, actually didn't start showing his face for the narration of the episode until season 2. Season 1 was just his voice that people heard. During the first season, and only the first season, Serling only appeared on camera during the promotions week for next week's episode. So you know how in the beginning of the episodes, as you see in season 2, he opens up, it's him, you see him, and he's standing there and talking to you? That did not exist in season 1. And the only time that did exist was when he was promoting for next week's episode. But when season 2 came along, you've seen him all the time. Now, some of the famous actors we actually see in Star Trek made their acting debut in the Twilight Zone. William Shatner appeared in 2 episodes, Nightmare at 20,000 Feet and Nick of Time. He also, Leonard Nimoy, appeared as a soldier in the Philippines during World War II in the episode A Quality of Mercy, and George Takei played a Japanese-American man in the infamously banned episode The Encounter. So they made some of their film debuts, their acting debuts in the Twilight Zone. And this is where I was telling you guys earlier that some of these actors and actresses made their debut and acting career in some of the older TV shows. And this is one of them. This is one of them. Some of the most notable celebrities to have appeared on the Twilight Zone include Telly Savalas. I don't know if you guys remember who Telly Savalas was. He was a private detective cop type of deal. It was an old show. Elizabeth Montgomery, Robert Redford, Roddy McDowell, Dennis Hopper, Robert Duvall, Burt Reynolds, and Charles Bronson. Kojak. Yes, bumpiest. Kojak. Many of the young ones probably have no idea who those guys I just talked about are. Dennis Hopper. Amazing actor. Robert Duvall. Burt Reynolds. Charles Bronson. Who loves you, baby? Exactly. Kojak. Many probably don't remember Kojak. Rob Sterling's hair was frickin' bulletproof. It was. If you open his casket, I guarantee there's nothing left of dust in his hairdo. He had epic hair of that time. Epic hair. Sterling was not the first choice of narrator for the show. It's hard to fathom any other host doing the show with his chilling voice. Do you know whose voice was almost the narrator voice and the original choice for the show? Orson Welles. Orson Welles was the first original choice. He was a famous actor during that time period. Could you imagine his voice over Rod Sterling? I couldn't. The Eye of the Beholder is one of my favorites. One of my favorite Twilight Zones right there. This series was the first show to dramatize the effects of an actual nuclear blast, which is kind of scary. And Twilight Zone had a board game that was released in the 1960s by Ideal. This one is my favorite. Gotta play smart now because the almighty Regal sees everything. Also, he was the original choice and would have been a good choice, but not as perfect as the voice of Rod. I don't know. I know the two voices, and it just wouldn't be the same. Hi, Real. How are you? I remember an episode of the Twilight Zone where a lady could freeze time by yelling, "Shut up." Last scene had nukes being launched and her freezing time and basically being the last person alive. That is where you actually see the actual nuclear blast that they do. This was a series that first ever showed a dramatized effect of a nuclear blast. And yes, that is, William Shatner right there. Now, Rod Sterling thought he had to come up for a term for Twilight Zone. He thought he had to come up with a term for that, like a definition of the Twilight Zone on his own. But after the show aired, he found out that it was actual term used by the U.S. Air Force pilots when crossing the day and night sides above the worlds. So I thought that was a really cool tidbit of information, that the U.S. Air Force pilots used the term the Twilight Zone when crossing the day and night sides above the world. It gives her time to figure out how to defuse the nukes. Exactly. Due to budgetary constraints in its second season, the network decided to cut costs by shooting some episodes on videotape rather than film. I thought that was pretty interesting too, because videotape back then was a very lower quality than an actual film at that time. And you can actually notice the differences between the two if you're actually watching the second season and comparing it to the first. Now, you guys remember the dummy episode? And it's called The Dummy. It is described as the scariest episode that Sterling has ever created by critics and fans. That one has been and still considered the creepiest and scariest one of all time in his episodes. Definitely rewatch the Twilight Zone if you can. Did Alfred Hitchcock ever appear in any of the episodes? Off the top of my head, I don't remember. I don't think so. And nothing that I found stated that otherwise. There is a comic book version of the series hosted by the artistic image of Rod Sterling that ran till 1982, 7 years after the real Sterling had died. So there is a comic book out there, and it does have a Rod Sterling, a comic Rod Sterling. And here is another little tidbit for you for in Michael Jackson's music. Not only did he use Vincent Price in some of his music, he also used Rod Sterling. Michael Jackson sampled Sterling's narrations in his song Threatened, and he also sampled from several episodes, but the two most noticeable ones are It's a Good Life and In His Image. And so not only did Michael Jackson use some of the greats like Vincent Price in Thriller, he also used some of Rod Sterling. What horror movie could you watch every day and not get tired of it? There's several, Chaser. Friday the 13th, I've watched literally probably 100 times. Unicorn Gaming, darling, thank you for that host. I do appreciate it. The Conjuring, nice. That's a good one as well. The Conjuring, the whole Conjuring family is really good. I remember the Camelot series of King Arthur on the Twilight Zone in 1985. Yeah, Twilight Zone's great. Hi, Muggle. Hello. RX Chaser, thank you for that host. If you are just joining us, we are doing Coffee Chat of Horrors web show. This month of November is Sci-Fi edition. The Coffee Chat of Horrors is a web show based around horror, sci-fi, and thriller. I do research along with Reaper 1923, who grabs artwork, cosplay, tattoos, for the show. And in this week's episode, we have talked about Buck Rogers, Flash Gordon, Battlestar Galactica, Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who. We are just finishing up the episode of the Twilight Zone. We now are going on to Outer Limits. I don't know if you guys have ever heard or watched the show Outer Limits from 1963, but if you haven't, you should, because it's kind of cool. Hereditary is a good one. Hereditary is decent. I liked Hereditary. I don't think I could watch it over and over, though. I don't think I can watch it over and over. It would be the first Resident Evil, or the series, the whole series. Outer Limits was awesome, and for its time as well. Dragon's Lair, thank you, darling, for that host. I do appreciate it. There is nothing wrong with your TV set, right? Frelix Arcadia, welcome to the Horde. Thank you for the follow. We are going to watch a trailer for The Outer Limits, the 1963. Go on with your damn commercials. Let me skip this bitch. Come on. Alive. Welcome back, Bruno. You love Outer Limits. Outer Limits is awesome, man. I've watched 13 Ghosts. Oh, hell yeah. 13 Ghosts is good. You like the new Outer Limits? Yes. So we're going to be discussing the original Outer Limits from 1963 to 1965. And here is the trailer for it. Let me know if it's too loud. Well, that was weird.
There is nothing wrong with your television set. Do not attempt to adjust the picture. We are controlling transmission. If we wish to make it louder, we will bring up the volume.
Right?
If we wish to make it softer, we will tune it to a whisper. We will control the horizontal. We will control the vertical. We can roll the image, make it flutter. We can change the focus to a soft blur, or sharpen it to crystal clarity. For the next hour, sit quietly and we will control all that you see and hear. We repeat, there is nothing wrong with your television set. You are about to participate in a great adventure. You are about to experience the awe and mystery which reaches from the inner mind to the outer limits.
All right. That is The Outer Limits. That is the trailer for the 1963 series. If you haven't seen The Outer Limits, the original, definitely do so. The remakes are cool, but you're not giving yourself justice if you haven't watched the originals. The Outer Limits, I believe, is on Netflix as well. Well, Netflix Canada. I don't know about the United States. Outer Limits has done some good episodes. One where aliens show up broadcasting a message. World leaders think it's a hostile That is very true. So the Outer Limits, yeah, right, Dillinger? We would just plug into an HDMI. The Outer Limits ran from 1963 to 1965. It had 2 seasons with 49 episodes in total. The series was often compared to The Twilight Zone, but with a greater emphasis on science fiction stories, where The Twilight Zone wasn't all about science fiction. It is an anthology of self-contained episodes, sometimes, oh shitballs, sometimes with a plot twist at the end. Hanniboo, thank you for that host. I hope you and Mike are good. I hope you guys are doing well. It's on US on Amazon Prime. Damn it. I wish we got that too. I do. The same Twilight Zone. Nice. That's really awesome, Dillinger. I haven't I know I forgot to turn it lower when we were watching the YouTube video. I apologize to your ears. The creator and writer of the Outer Limits is Leslie Stevens. Now, this here, 1963 to 1965, you got to remember, is a different era in time completely when it comes to different things on scene, when it comes to females, when it comes to aliens. It's a different era in total compared to what we have today and what we're allowed to show today. And what's not controversial today was controversial back then. Vic Perrin was the show's narrator. He was an American radio, film, and television actor, perhaps best remembered for providing the control voice in the original version of the television series The Outer Limits. And so he is the control voice. If you have seen The Outer Limits, you know whose voice I'm talking about. And if you actually just listened to the trailer, you would also hear the voice of Vic Perrin. The show was revived in 1995, titled under the same name, and was a Canadian-American series airing on Showtime from 1995 to the year 2000. The new Outer Limits series, Showtime, lasted 5 seasons. That it did. So it showed from 1995 to the year 2000, then on the Sci-Fi channel from 2001 until its cancellation in 2002. The revival series maintained an anthology format, but occasionally featured reoccurring stories, arcs that were then tied together during the season finale clip shows. I got fur in my eye from my damn ass cat. But yes, it was redone. Happy Sunday. We are all well. I hope the show is going fantastic. The show is going great. We're actually going on a little longer than what we normally should. We should have been over by now, but this show was so chock full of information that we're going over in time. But we're coming towards the end soon. Its stories are described as more scientific, more science fiction based and less dark fantasy than those of the Twilight Zone. Son of a bitch, I can't get these words out of my mouth. Oh my God. So we have 120. What we have? What? Oh my goodness, I had no idea we had that many people in here, Dillinger. Tongue tie me up even more. That was the one episode of TZ that was always stuck with me and scared the shit out of you, really. Was that me? I had a hard time reading that too, right? Oh my God, I had a hard time getting that out of the mouth. Many of the creatures that appeared in the Outer Limits episode have been sold as models or action figures in the 1990s and the 2000s. A variety in limited editions have been also model kits to assemble and be painted by the purchaser, issued by Dimensional Designs, and a smaller set out-of-the-box action figures sold in larger quantities by Sideshow Toys. These toys would be probably very good collectibles if you got your hands on them. The first color TV sent out in mass production in 1954 was a 15-inch Westinghouse at $12.50, right? Like I said, when we did last week's episode of the birth of sci-fi, there was more radios in people's homes than there were anything else. Not today, Big. Not today. But if you are interested in any other sci-fis that you would like to see, please, if you're in my Discord, definitely put it in my Discord. Let me know what you guys want to see for Coffee Chat of Horrors. As of right now, the rest of this year has already been set out and done. We are also looking forward into 2020. So we have an entire year of great horror web shows. So there's so much information we can give you guys. If you guys are interested in whatever you would like, please make sure you're in my Discord. There is Crypt of Curiosities. There's also the Coffee Chat of Horrors channel where you can discuss things in, as well as check out all of the artwork from today's show will be in Reaper 1923's channel in my Discord, as well as all of my research that Batman, Regal, and I did, as well as the VOD will all be in Discord by the end of day. And if you are unable to watch the VOD on Mixer, we will have it on YouTube. It is actually live streaming on YouTube right meow as we speak. A few of the monsters reappeared in Gene Roddenberry's Star Trek series later on in the 1960s. The movie Micro Beast in the series' final episode of The Outer Limits, titled The Probe, was in Star Trek. It was used as the Horta in the 25th episode, The Devil in the Dark. The ion storm seen in The Mutant, a projector beam shining through a container containing glitter in liquid suspension, became the transporter effect in Star Trek. You see how they kind of like roll in with all of this stuff that goes into the Star Trek and Star Wars and all of our sci-fi? Jester Lee, thank you for that host. I appreciate it. So I think as doing this research, it's really interesting to see where some of the stuff has come from, because if you have watched the original Star Trek series and you know them, you would know some of the scenes that you see and some of the monsters came from The Outer Limits. The series earned a very loyal audience in the first season. It was so devoted, some people were reported to take a TV set with them that they had to be far away from home so they would not miss an episode, as home video recording did not yet exist. So recording videos from home did not exist at this time, and people were so devoted to watching it that they would take their TVs with them. That is insane. The second season fared rather poorly in Nielsen's ratings after moving the show from Monday to Saturday night, going against Jackie Gleason, which we know was an American comedian for his brash visual and verbal comedy. So at that time, the Honeymooners and the Jackie Gleason show, he had to battle up against. So it did not do as good as it did on a Monday to a Saturday. They should have kept the show on a Monday. It probably would have done it much better, and it probably would have gone on further if they did it that way, instead of removing it from Monday nights and having it go up against some of the big hitters of that time. My grandma told me she used to rent her VCR. Then, yeah, it was cheaper to buy. It was cheaper to rent than buy. That is very interesting too, Regal, because our era, we grew up on VHS, right? Where at that time they didn't have that. And it is still cheaper to rent. It definitely is. The series retained a following for many years after its original broadcast. Many decades later, horror writer Stephen King called it the best program of its type ever to run on network TV. These shows also gave inspiration to so many horror writers and authors and movie people in the industry. So Sci-Fi not only helped birth its own sci-fi, it also helped birth some of the horror that we see in today and in the 80s. Depends on how long you want to rent it. Yeah, that's true. It does depend on how long you want to rent it. We no longer have mom and pop shops here anymore. I used to rent 3 back then in the day. It was like $1,000. Really? Holy shit. I don't even remember the prices back then. No idea. Along with Star Trek and The Twilight Zone, The Outer Limits is part of the holy trinity of the 60s television sci-fi, and all episodes were all 1 hour long. Now they did censor and ban a Twilight called The Encounter, right? That was one of the Twilight Zones that was banned. Now The Outer Limits also has a banned one as well. One episode was censored for being too frightening, and it's called The Architects of Fear. Features a particularly gruesome beast. The monstrosity altered from Alan Layton. Some ABC affiliates found the creature so disturbing they opted to insert a black screen instead of the Thetan. Right? Could you imagine? You love Stephen King? I'm thinking about doing an episode on Stephen King coming 2020. Can you imagine going back in time and someone that's carrying their TV for Outer Limits saying, one day we can watch all of this on a thin rectangle kept in our pockets, right? Right? Mm-hmm. Like I said, I always take what you guys suggest, I always take in to possibly do for a show. So again, if you're in my Discord and you want to see something that we haven't done yet, definitely put it on in there. Both William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy have also appeared on The Outer Limits before they were Spock and Kirk. These shows help birth Star Trek, help birth a lot of the sci-fi TV shows that we see and that we've seen through the later 60s and 70s and in the 80s. And this is where Shatner and Nimoy got a lot of their acting career done, right? They started out in many of these short sci-fi TV shows. And I thought it was really cool to see where they came from and where they are now. Hi, Delta. There was a cartoon you would like, right? It shows Doctor with Jason on the table, and the doc says, you've got to stop slashing with your right hand. You've got carpal tunnel. Prince of Hell. Yeah, if you want, join my Discord. Put it in there. Put it in there if you guys want to see it. Okay, Big Wild Blue. See you later, hon. You have a great day. The original title for the series was called Please Stand By. However, the Cuban Missile Crisis had happened less than a year earlier, and the executives thought it might make people fearful of an air raid. So they took that away. As a reference to this, when The Outer Limits in 1995 aired, would cut to a commercial, then the control voice would say, please stand by. They did not want to do this back in when the show first aired because, again, the Cuban Missile Crisis just happened a year earlier. And they didn't want to give people heart attacks. I would recommend reading on Writing by Stephen King that puts on insight into why he wrote these horror novels. Jester Lee, if you're in my Discord, hon, put it in the Discord. I don't remember half of the shit that gets said in my chat. By the time I'm done with this show, I'm on to keep doing more research. A lot of the stuff that gets said here, literally, I forget. Unless I rewatch the VOD and take notes, which will end up happening because there's some stuff that I want to take note on that I haven't taken note on yet. So, yes, make sure you guys put that in there. Many scenes and in some entire episodes of the series were filmed on location at a series creator Joseph Stefano's house called Villa di Stefano, from which the production company took its name. And Gene Roddenberry, we know Gene Roddenberry was a huge fan of the series because he used many of the items and props and monsters from The Outer Limits and the actors for Star Trek and other shows. So I thought that was really cool to read about as well, to see where Gene Roddenberry got his inspiration from and what he thought was good for his shows. And the next one we're going to talk about will be Lost in Space. Now, there is no good trailer for Lost in Space from the 1965 to 1968, so we're just going to discuss it. It's short, and then we're going to go on to Time Tunnel and Invaders. And these guys, again, are pretty short. There's not much information on them because I was doing the originals and not the remakes. So this will be Lost in Space. Lost in Space aired from 1965 to 1968. It had 3 seasons and 83 episodes. The most famous catchphrase is "Danger, Will Robinson, danger, danger." We all know that. It's in like Robot Chicken. It's everywhere. My husband says hello to Ra and the Horde. Hello, hubby. But yes, right? Hi, Nightmare. How are you doing? Thank you for the sparks. But was only said once in the original series run. So that most famous catchphrase was said once in the entire series run. Danger, Will Robinson, danger, danger. And this is known throughout. People have used it in so many different things. And it was only said once in the series. It was inspired by the 1812 novel, The Swiss Family Robinson, and a comic book titled Space Family Robinson, published by Gold Key Comics. No worries. Love your face whispers. Have a good one. Was the point of Outer Limits trailer is trying to hypnotize you, it felt like. Yeah, it wanted to take your mindset into a different frame of mind. And that's what they kept telling you. It's not your TV. And they were trying to tell you, they were trying to manipulate and control, right? That's what they were telling you to do, and your mindset and your eyes and visuals will be creative and see that. but I thought it was very cool to hear that the 1812 novel, The Swiss Family Robinson, actually inspired Lost in Space. I thought that was really cool. And Irwin Allen was wanting to enlist NASA, and they were interested to have the show promote what they do. Unfortunately, after multiple conversations with the producer having no interest in scientific accuracy whatsoever, NASA distanced themselves from the project itself. So Irwin, the creator, wanted, real science. He wanted real information about the atmosphere, about space, and he enlisted NASA. Could you imagine working side by side with NASA? The characters in that show weren't exactly fashion forward. No, no, they weren't. No, they weren't in Lost in Space. And the producer said, no, I have no interest of being accurate in this, so we're not going to bother with it. Could you imagine how much better this show could have been and would have been if they actually had NASA involved? The show ran in black and white from 1965 to 1966, and then from 1966 to 1968 was in color. And here is the robot. The spacecraft was originally called Gemini 12. Yeah, and it was very unfortunate, because this show didn't last long. And even the remake of it wasn't that great. CBS bought the series, turning down Star Trek in favor of Lost in Space. Didn't they fuck up? They took on Lost in Space over Star Trek and buying the series. They messed up big time. Big time. The robot is definitely cute, for sure. Props and monsters from previous Irwin Allen shows were regularly recycled and used again. So the costume, the robot B9, was worth $70,000. The costume for the robot weighed approximately 200 pounds. Right? 200 pounds. And this is just one of the other, this is the comic book. The torso, which we're going to go back to the robot. The torso is made of fiberglass. The legs were made of rubber. The arms were made of latex. And the claws were out of metal. Actor Bob May was the one who fit inside the B-19 costume. The buttons to activate the lights was in the torso, but was moved down to the claws for easier access. Serial Killer, again, thank you so very much for... The wheel is not working. Oh, never mind. I know why. One Streamloots just for Serial Killer. I know why it wasn't working. Because I didn't have it on. So there was a guy inside of this costume. This wasn't ran by remote control. It was a man inside this costume walking around and doing the voice. So I thought that was really cool. If you ever seen Lost in Space, this bulky ass robot that's walking around, that is a human inside of it. We're going to show you another trailer here. This is going to be for The Invaders, which aired in 1967 to 1968. This is another good TV show. It didn't last long, but it was definitely a good show. And we're going to watch a trailer for it. Right? Meow. Thank you, Regal. I appreciate it. Let me know if this needs to be louder. B9.
The Invaders. A Quinn Martin production. Starring Roy Finnis as architect David Vincent.
The Invaders. Alien beings from a dying planet. Their destination, the Earth.
I'll tell you here in a second, Mama.
To make it their world. David Vincent has seen them. For him, it began one lost night on a lonely country road looking for a shortcut that he never found. It began with a closed, deserted diner and a man too long without sleep to continue his journey. It began with the landing of a craft from another galaxy. Now, David Vincent knows that the invaders are here, that they have taken human form. Somehow he must convince a disbelieving world that the nightmare has already begun.
The guest stars in tonight's story: John Larch, Carol Rawson, Frank Overton. Tonight's episode, Genesis.
And that, oh, welcome, Channel 1. Welcome, welcome. And that there was the opening trailer and scene for the TV show The Invaders. Welcome, Channel 1. If you are just joining us, we are Coffee Chat of Horrors, episode Sci-Fi Classics. We are now discussing The Invaders TV series. Hi, Junk. How are you? So, Mama, to answer your question, his full name was M3B9 Gunter, G.U.N.T.E.R. So Gunter, that's his full name, but he was known by B9 in Lost in Space. So if you're just joining us, this is Coffee Chat of Horrors. It's a web show that we host every Sunday here on Mixer. We discuss horror movies, sci-fis, and thrillers. It is the only live horror web show on Mixer. We go every Sunday at 9:30 a.m. Mountain Time. And we are talking about The Invaders. Here is one of the images of The Invaders. And The Invaders aired from 1967 to 1968. It had 2 seasons with 43 episodes. I don't know if that's a command there, Jesse. The plot. Series follows architect David Vincent and his quest to unveil extraterrestrial invasion of Earth. He accidentally learns of an alien invasion is underway and travels to surrounding areas to warn skeptical populations of the danger and plans to foil alien sinister plans. So it's another sci-fi, and it didn't have a long run, unfortunately. Thank you so much for those sparks. I do appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it. Ooh, why are we running the wheel again? Everybody gets 50,000 brains? Is that why? Oh, trust me with everything except your cereal. Oh, for Jester. I got you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. The true form of the aliens is never completely revealed. Only glimpses of the creatures were in 2 episodes. They showed their nature in a fiery red death and a glow when they died. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Okay, Mama, have a good one, honey. You have a great nap. Thank you for stopping by, and I will slash you later. I don't know if anybody else has seen this one. I have seen parts of The Invader. I have not watched the whole series. Captain Beerman. Mwah, thank you for that host, and thank you everyone for those sparks. I do appreciate it. Thank you, Jester Lee. I completely missed those embers. It did not show up for me. Thank you for them, hun. I appreciate them. Definitely do. I've seen parts. Yeah, I've seen parts. I haven't seen all of it as well. The show, Mr. McGee, 1977. Welcome to the Horde. Thank you for the follow. The show spawned an expanded universe of tie-in books and comics. The most interesting was the novel The Invaders, Army of the Undead, which centers around turning humans into mindless zombies. The paperback version hit stands in 1967, a year before Night of the Living Dead by Romero, which is my favorite zombie of all time. My favorite zombie movie of all time. Lacey, you ignore dingleberries. Ignore dingleberries. You don't talk to a piece of shit. You don't talk to dingleberries. The way I look at it, we ignore it. They don't even exist to us. There was never a full UFO built for the show. It was a miniature saucer that was optically printed into the sky whenever it was shown flying. My husband wrote that. Oh, welcome, Toxic Glitter. Welcome to the Horde. Thank you for the follow. Can your Xbox name and Mixer channel have to be the same? It doesn't have to be, but you want your branding to be the same. Amazing. As a content creator, if you're planning to take this into the further or just if you're going to be a hobbyist, then whatever. But if you're planning to take this further and do more with it, I would highly suggest having all of your branding the same. Your social media, blah, blah, blah. And amazing, if you join us on Tuesday at 11 a.m. Mountain Time, we will be doing for the first 2 hours from 11 to 1 Streamer Chat Tuesdays. It's only a limited time web show that I will be doing, and that is where you guys can ask your questions and go into things. Exactly, but we ignore dingles. We ignore them. Mantis, darling, how are you? The theme music used was originally heard in The Outer Limits, The Form of Things Unknown in 1964. For many viewers, the theme of paranoia infusing the show often appeared to reflect the Cold War fantasies of communist infiltration. You know, remember the era that this came out in? What type of conflict were we in the United States was in at that time? We had the Cuban Missile Crisis going on a couple years earlier, especially when The Outer Limits came out, right? It happened a year earlier. You also had other things going on in conflict in the United States at that time. Oh, I completely forgot about the Mantis. It's already passed beyond. But thank you. Frank Black, lead singer of the Pixies, was a big fan of all things science fiction, especially this show. He wrote Bad Wicked World within distinct reference of this TV show. Yeah, I completely forgot. There's no sense in that now. The show was remade in 1995 in a miniseries. So there is a remake of this show in 95. But I highly suggest kind of watching the original of The Invaders. Chixie Mel, welcome to the Horde. Thank you for your follow. And now that is The Outer Limits. Our last show that we are going to be discussing is The Time Tunnel. Another classic TV show. Always watching the original. Always the original of everything. You must watch the originals of everything because you need to know where it came from, where it started. We are going to watch Time Tunnel. The Time Tunnel. This is a trailer for the TV show from 1967 to 1967. I mean, 1966 to 1967. There we go. Ooh, English, man, English. Tell me if it's too loud or if it needs to be louder.
This is the incredible Time Tunnel.
When you enter the time tunnel, almost anything can happen.
Do you want me to tell you about
Again, 1966 to 1967. It only had one season.
The breathtaking future, the Time Tunnel.
Look at how old the graphics and stuff were.
That is the truth.
Wherever he and Doug are now, at least they're together.
But where?
The Time Tunnel.
You have Time Tunnel on DVD? Nice. Look at that. See, there you go. That is the Time Tunnel. The Time Tunnel aired from 1966 to 1967. It had 30 episodes and it only had one season. Again, the plot is two scientists, Tony Newman and Douglas Phillips, are leaders of a multi-billion-dollar government installation and secretly working on a project called Project TikTok, buried underneath the desert. The group of scientists invent a time tunnel which can visit anywhere in time and space to past historical events or to the future with battling alien invaders. Isn't it funny how they go into the future, they're always battling aliens, but in the past they're not? Thank you for those sparks. Oh man, this quality. Yeah, this looks quality. It's actually a good TV show. We're going to go into the Time Tunnel. We don't have a whole bunch of information on the Time Tunnel. Again, it's an older TV show. The tagline is "Be propelled into the darkest past or the unknown future." Lasting for only one season, it is the shortest series of all of Irwin Allen's sci-fi fiction and his favorite to create. Even though it lasted one season, it was his favorite show. He enjoyed this one out of all the other ones. Hello, controller. How are you? Each episode ended in a cliffhanger leading into the next episode. In doing this, the final episode led into the repeating of the first episode. Isn't that crazy how they had it looped? So basically, the very first episode, and as it goes through, it plays, it always leads to a cliffhanger. and then the last episode goes back into a cliffhanger into going to repeat the first one. So basically repeating itself, going back in time. Hello, Vivid. How are you, darling? Props like the guns and the computers were reused from Alan's previous show, Lost in Space. So a lot of the props, a lot of the guns and things that you see were reused from previous episodes and previous shows. Yeah, I'm doing amazing. I can't complain. How are you, Vivid? The series is the third production. Oh, shitball. Sorry, that was loud. Who's this bot and who's this Vivid? Mwah, thank you for that host. I forgot to turn it down. The series is the third production from Irwin Allen, following behind Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea and Lost in Space. I know, I gotta remember to turn those down. This series helped establish Irwin Allen as the foremost producer of science fiction adventure shows in the U.S. during the 1960s. So that was really cool. And then here's another imagery. Oh shit, you scared the hell out of me. Of the time tunnel. This is how long this show was. I'm trying to finish it. You okay? Is that cold up there? Oh, your face is red. First aired in USA in ABC on September 9th, 1966, just one day after the debut of Star Trek. Yep, that's heavy. It's heavy. And then the spawn is like right over there. But this is how I set it up this time. Better, I think. This came out the year you were born, right, Quinsnell? Yes. Yep, there goes zombie. Haha, the spawn is over there to the side. But yeah, this was a big episode. A big episode. You loving the shirt? Just wait till he gets Metro's shirt. Heavy hype. Yeah, if Metro was here, you'd see the chat just fly right on by. And then there goes Top Rocker. That's Drum. Drum Hella. Heavy butt hype. Yeah, Heavy do squats and jumping jacks with us. But that is today's show. Oh, you give the finger as well, right?
Goddamn squats or jumping jacks.
He ain't doing no goddamn squats or jumping jacks. That is today's show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We had a lot of information for you, and I do apologize that the show went on almost an hour late. We are gonna do trivia. Don't worry about it. We are gonna do trivia. These are for Streamloots chests. These are for Streamloots chests. Now, there are 5 questions based on the entire show today. We had a long show, guys. We had a long show. Again, thank you. Yeah, only at Red Deer Harley. Yeah, we don't even go to Harley. But yes, it's unable to make a clip. So it won't make a clip. I know who's pressing the button. It's not going to make a clip. Anyways, we are going to have our trivia. Now, the trivia is based on all of the shows. I've only picked out 5 out of the whole thing. And so our first one, and we're going to take a couple of seconds in between each of them because we have Streamloots chests to give. So if you do win this, you get a Streamloots chest. If you do not have Streamloots, you just get 50,000 brains. So who was turned down for the lead role of Flash Gordon? Dillinger's got it. Dillinger got it. GG's, Dillinger. Let me know, Regal, when you have that done. Arnold Schwarzenegger was turned down of the lead role of Flash Gordon because of his Austrian accent. It was too heavy. Yep. And then, yeah, as soon as Regal lets me know she's got it. I didn't even get to type. Mixer Mobile is behind. I'm sorry. Thank you, Regal. Our next question. In Battlestar Galactica, what inspired the helmets? Okay, yeah, Regal, if you need to let, if whatever makes it easier. Dillinger's got it again. King Tut. What inspired the helmets is the Egyptian pharaoh, King Tut. Yep, Dillinger got that again. And you notice the things that are in this, I always repeat to you guys. That's a hint to either write it down or remember it. I will repeat the certain parts of my show and things because I know it's going to be in the trivia. And let's see. Who played the voice of Vader? This is easy, guys. Dillinger again. There goes Heavy. You can hear him. Thank you, Channel One. Have a good one. Thank you for stopping by.
Get the hell
out. Bart, how are you? Yes, Dillinger got that one again. You let me know when it's sent, Regal.
I got that shit.
Yeah. You always get a chest, but you don't have Streamloots.
I got your chest.
They are on PC, yeah, or watching on Xbox and then on mobile. Book and I are gonna head out. Okay, Diva. I love your face. Have a good one, you and Book. Yep, Heavy's chest hype. What year? What year did Star Trek the movie take place in? Thank you, Whispers.
1942.
Nope. No.
23.
What year did the movie take place? Not the movie made. What year did the movie take place? Nope.
1976.
Nope.
83.
Nope.
42.
Nope.
53.
2022. Do you guys give up?
2042. 2242.
No.
3406.
Master Blood. Thank you for that auto hose. It was done.
Fine, I'm leaving.
I need some food. We're gonna eat here soon. All right. The show aired in 2020. Okay, so 2273. Not aired. The movie takes place in 2273. Hello, Paul. But what we're gonna do is for all of the answers, everybody gets 20,000 brains. Regal, can you please hand, or Batman, whoever gets it, can you please hand everybody 20,000 brains? Yeah, was close. There were a few close ones, but it took place in 2273. But you guys got brains. Thank you for the participation. Thank you for that participation. Now that was given out. Perfect. We are going to go on to our very last trivia question of the day. How was the TARDIS in Doctor Who, how was the noise made? Where do we go to get them? Go to get what, Jessica? Streamloot's chest or your brains? Your brains are automatically given to you. And Dillinger got it correct. The TARDIS noise was made by rubbing piano strings with a key. Yep. So Jessica, if you do exclamation point brains, now brains can be used for several different things. If you do exclamation point brains, it gives you the amount of hours you've watched my stream, a rank if you have it, and it'll tell you your brain's accumulation. So zombie is an elite zombie. 306 hours, 49,000 brains. I got the fucking hiccups. Jessica, you are a just turned zombie. You have 3 hours and 20,000 brains, over 20,000 brains. Batty, is he cheating? Dillinger is so lucky I can't buy a timeout, right? Now, brains can be used for a few things in my stream. Brains can be used for in-chat games, like Heist, Russian Roulette, Spin, and stuff like that. Hi, Sweetness. Who? Yeah, I know. From there, you can also use brains for my giveaways. Each of my giveaways has tickets that you can buy with brains. Then there is when the soundboard is on. Oh, Bart, love your face. You get yourself a name on the bat. So once my show is done, I'm going to actually write your name on a bat. And Dillinger probably takes notes or he remembers it all up in here. The episode with the Dalek? Yes. We're going to actually do some more on these guys probably later on. What was I saying? Yes, your brains can be used when the mixed play is working. It can be used for Ra's Little Shop of Horrors. Ra's Little Shop of Horrors is a board on the mixed play where you can buy jumping jacks, squats, SFX sounds, little different things for the stream that you guys can play with in the stream. So that's what your brains can be used for. If you want to check your limbs, exclamation point limbs. Limbs is a special currency where you can either do a few things with them. Either hoard them and at the end of the month get picked for the winner that gets to pick a prize, or you can trade your limbs in for brains, or you can also trade brains in for limbs, right? Yeah, definitely good memory. Nope, I was eating donuts most of the time. I just really love sci-fi and horror. Awesome job, Dillinger. Seriously, awesome job. Great job, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's show. It was a lot of research, a lot of research and a lot of fact checking, and I could not have done it without the help of Batman, Goddess, and Regal. Thank you, ladies, for that help. I may need you again this week because next weekend's episodes. Now, I don't remember what fully Reaper was telling me because they're not in the Discord yet. But Blade is going to be part of next week's episode. We will be releasing on Twitter next Sunday's episode list. Thanks for explaining. No worries, Jessica. No worries. Just finished the Slavine episode's Bad Breath Farts. Nice, Captain. Nice. Yes, good job, ladies. Definitely good job. They did a great job. Reaper, what is next week's episodes? I completely forgot offhand, and I have Discord open. I know everything about Blade. If you need help, that's awesome. Thank you. We do have, this show was huge. Okay, thank you. This show we did Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers, Battlestar Galactica, only the original, Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who, Twilight Zone, Outer Limits, Lost in Space, The Invaders, and Time Tunnel. That was a huge mother right there. That's a big show. I'm hoping in 2020 to break this down a bit more, maybe do an entire Star Wars franchise, or maybe do the first 3 Star Wars in a Coffee Chat of Horrors, and then possibly do Battlestar Galactica new, and have that there for you guys. Again, if you are in my Discord and you have a show, I have notes. Here's what I'm thinking of, guys, for some future stuff in the year 2020. We are thinking about horror spooky cartoons, the cartoons that we grew up with. Scooby-Doo, Beetlejuice, Tales from the Crypt Keeper, The Real Ghostbusters, Real Monsters, Courage the Cowardly Dog, and much, much more. We were thinking of ideas for 2020. Also thinking of some ideas for Valentine's month, February. Also some really other cool TV horror shows and spooky shows and mystery shows. I love the oldies, though. My favorite was Baker with the giant rat and the ventriloquist, right? You mean 4, 5, and 6? Yes. 4, 5, and 6, the original 3. I will always say original 3. SSJ, we do have plans for some horror anime and manga. I don't really know a lot about that in that area, but I am willing to do things on subjects that I don't know much about. And thank you. And for next week's episode, so Sunday, next week's episode, Coffee Chat of Horrors on the 17th. I'm just opening it up here. We will be talking about Blade Runner, The Matrix, The Terminator, Event Horizon, Dune, and The Fifth Element. Now, we will, in future show, be talking about Blade, the vampire series. I still have lots and lots to do and discuss with Reaper for 2020. The stupid Canadian Ghostbusters show. Awesome. Courage the Cowardly Dog. Yeah, these are things that are in the future. Yes, Blade Runner is going to be a good one. Event Horizon. Yes, I love Event Horizon. If you have not seen Event Horizon, truly missing out. Blade Runner is awesome. It is awesome. But where you can see, Ghost in the Shell is an awesome movie. Yeah, I prefer Ghost in the Shell over Matrix. Wanted to save Blade for a horror special. Right. We don't want to put Blade in the science fiction. This month is science fiction month. And again, if there are shows that you guys, movies or TV shows or cartoons, it doesn't have to be action based. If you guys have ideas, please post in my Discord. We have Crypt of Curiosities and we have the Coffee Chat of Horrors channel. The artwork that you've seen in today's show is already in Discord under Reaper 1923's channel. I will be, at the end of my show, I will be putting in all of my research that Batman, myself, and Regal did, as well as the VOD should be up in the Discord later on. We will have this VOD live and running on Twitch. We will also be uploading this VOD to Facebook so we can have Facebook watch parties. Event Horizon is amazing. Amazing. It is definitely an awesome show. We do have our credits, and we will be playing those credits. Regal, is there anybody on? Maybe someone that we can spread this love to. What's up, amazing? Okay, thank you. But yeah, no, I thought this show went over really well. It was a lot of information for you guys. So shut up. You fucked with the cat. Now he's coming to fuck with you. If you can't handle it, don't mess with him. My cat Paul is a moose. Oh, no. I said it was an amazing... What did I say? I don't know what the hell I just said. But no, I wasn't calling you out there, honey. I wasn't calling you out. I was talking to Chico because he was fucking with the cat, and my cat Paul is a moose. Like, he's literally a friggin' moose. And he's bigger than Chico, and Chico has the balls. Actually, he doesn't have any balls, but he has the balls to go up to Paul and piss him off. And then Paul turns around and is like, "What you talking about, bitch?" And comes at him, and Chico runs like a little bitch. There is a 4th Matrix movie being made. Very cool. By the way, I loved your raid the other day on SK. That was, oh, right, Dillinger? It's great seeing people get so happy. It was. I was so excited. That's my cat. That's my guy, Paul, if you just seen him walk by. I did. We broke them, and it's awesome. I love rating new people. I love rating people we watch. What do you guys want to watch? You guys want to watch horror? Let's try to find a horror game. Any horror game. Maybe some Resident Evil, maybe some Colina, if that's anybody streaming that. We will be back here Monday morning at 11 a.m. Mountain Time, guys. We will be back here in the morning. We will be checking out some Dead by Daylight again. And on Tuesdays, for a limited time, I will be doing Streamer Chat Tuesdays. It is a 2-hour web show in the morning from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Time. And then we're going to go into some video games. And it'll be a limited series. This is not going to happen for a year. It's going to happen a couple times this month. So if you are interested and you have information or you have questions or you want to talk about something that you've seen in one of my Content Creation 101 videos, you are more than welcome to do so at that time. If you have questions about a bot, I can definitely point you in the right direction or give you some help. I'd like to go over some Firebot with you guys because we've been having questions about Firebot and how I do my faces and all this other fun stuff that I do. I do it with Firebot. That's not a cat, that's a freaking panther, right? One of these days I will get Paul to come in here and I will show you how big he actually is. He's about 25 pounds. He's huge. His head is bigger than my fist. Anyone remember the movie Virus? Virus. No. Oh, it's not on. The snap camera is not on today. People we are not on right now that we haven't raided. Okay, so who's on? Mr. Metro Birdman? We can raid Mr. Metro. I think he's on right now too, right? Yeah, he's 25 pounds. He's a big cat. His head is about bigger than my fist. That's how big he is. Okay, yeah, we can definitely do Mr. Metro Birdman. Yeah, so on Tuesdays, streamer chat. Also Tuesday, actually Monday. Regal, did you watch my video that I sent you? I don't remember if you watched it yet. Did I adopt him from the jungle? No, I rescued his ass from some shitty, the ones about content creation, my first one, the equipment. We rescued him from some shitty people. We rescued him at 8 months. Yeah, about 8 months. Yes, the one that I sent you on Discord. I haven't made it public yet because I wanted your opinion on it. The very first issue of content creation, so you want to be a streamer 101, what equipment do we need, will be dropping tomorrow. So you guys have an entire week to watch that video, kind of understand what you need for content creation, what you don't need right away. Again, all of the equipment that I tell you about, I am not sponsored by. So I'm not trying to sell you anything. Everything that you see in my stream and that I talk about, I have bought myself or Horde members have helped me obtain. So none of it's trying to sell you a damn thing. I'm giving you my honest opinion and review about certain products and the things that you need to get started and the things that are nice to have once you get going and you realize you love streaming. Do not buy thousands of dollars worth of equipment to find out you don't have time or you just don't like it, right? Yeah, he's like almost a Russian blue. Yeah, but I can't remember the name of his breed. I'm over here watching ET with the kids. Nice. Nice. All right, guys, we're going to get into our credits. And this is how I do my credits, is through Firebot, through a custom script that Platypus Muerte has created. And this is how I do my credits. And we will be discussing this on Tuesday. I take that as a compliment, Cobra. You'd be surprised at how many people try to use share as a diss. Oh, Prophet, you're too late. Thank you to my Patreon subs. Thank you so very much. I love your faces. Thank you for everything. To our new friends of the Horde, welcome. I hope you enjoyed your show. To this right here, thank you so very much for all of this host love. Thank you so very much for this. I am very honored for the Horde and I to be upon your channel. Thank you. And to Regal, Lacey, and Batman, thank you so much for your help in keeping the chat clean today. As well as, again, Batman Goddess and Regal, thank you so very much for all of your help in research today. For this week, it would have been very difficult for me to get all of this in and stream and do what I do. So thank you. Dread Central, thank you for that rehost. Thank you so very much. I hope you and everyone over at Dread Central is having a great day. We are going to raid the one and only Mr. Metro Birdman this afternoon. Thank you for those sparks, guys. Thank you for those sparks. Thank you for the support. Thank you for hanging out with me, and thank you for making my Sunday amazing. I love your faces, and I will slash you all later. We are going to raid Mr. Metro Birdman. Mwah. Have a rest of a great Sunday, as well as I will see you all tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. I will slash you later. Will do, Scroto. Will do, darling. Thank you, Devil.